does my eyelid red?
It's because it's focused.
Oh.
You gotta like say hi.
Oh, hello YouTube. Welcome back to Darius2OL's channel.
Said my name wrong. Get out.
I said Darius2L.
Oh, you said Darius 2L?
Yes.
Oh, all right, never mind. You said 2OL.
Well, I
Get out. Move. Get out. Move. Cut. What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing Five Nights at Freddy's. You got me, of course, Darius2L.
Hi.
Hey, Grady. We about to play FNAF 2. We about to get started. Like, comment, subscribe, share the videos all around. Let's get straight to it. Right. I'm about to get a chair for Grady real quick. Subscribe. Yeah, give me a second. Jamar. Welcome back. What's good, bro? Welcome back, bro. I'm about to play Five Nights at Freddy's. You ever played this game before? We're having a really late stream tonight. Very late stream. Thanks to Grady. She's slowing me down. But she's getting ready. Alright. Shoot. You still in here, bro? Damn. What's good, man? Yes, I have. I saw fix those borders, bro. Oh yeah, I got you. Thank you for notifying me. My stuff is all tangled up right now. Ugh. Yeah. I want to beat this game tonight.
I'm scared.
Grady's only ever heard of FNAF because I showed her Five Nights at Freddy's 1. We beat night 1 through 4, but we did not beat night 5. And then I got bored and I was like, I want to play the second game because the second one is my favorite. She's never seen the second one. She doesn't even know why it's my favorite, but she'll see. It's pretty soon. The sound is perfect. Perfect quality. Oh man, the sound is perfect quality. The way you worded that was crazy, but I know what you mean. Yeah, turn that off. Nah, you can leave it closed. Transform. Yeah. Hit the screen. Oh. Stretch the screen. What's up with that? Oh my gosh. Blanket, you're cold. Check up there in the closet. Yeah. That you were talking shit about. Why? Why not? I think it looks good on me. I'm gonna wear it just because I know it looks good on me. I'm gonna wear it tomorrow. Shit. Let me wear it now, actually. Pass it to me. I'm gonna wear it right now.
No.
Just because you want to talk shit. Alright. Everything looks good. You can hear me, Jamar? You can see us? I'm gonna do night 1, you do night 2. Okay? Broke the string. Damn, fire in the chat, yo. It's fire in the chat. Right. So you'll be able to hear the game, but you won't be able to hear like as intensely as me. But then once you put the headphones on, you'll be able to hear. What the hell was that? It's part of the soundboard. I told you I got sound effects now. Night 1, let's start it. Yes. Get it, man. Let's get it, man. This one has like extra like features in it. So, boom, Five Nights at Freddy's. The old location from the first night, it closed down with like the original set. They got it. Yeah, I think they found out, but then they reopened it, and so now the old ones from night 1, like the first game.
Why is it so?
Yeah. Oh, let me just explain the background. Caseless boy, gosh damn, should I sub? Should I sub? I did. Yes, you should sub. Always sub, bro. Always sub from me and Grady. But yeah, basically.
It says R.I.P. my ears.
My ears. I know. When you push the button, it started like screaming. But the first game got shut down, so all the animatronics they got thrown in the locker. So they basically recreated the original cast with like new models. So now you have to deal with the new models plus the old models are gonna be attacking you. And there's new like puppets and like animatronics and stuff.
And why are the
Hello? Hello,
I
hello?
think the same thing happened for the spirit of
Hello
them or
and welcome
something.
to your new summer job
Sub up, yes,
at the
thank
new
you,
and
thank you.
improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old locations, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. They spent a small fortune on these new animatronics, facial recognition, advanced mobility. They even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away. Heck, we should be paying them to guard you. Now that being said, no new system is without its
I think there was a theory that
you're only the
the
second
dude,
guard
the
to work at that
pedophile who
location.
was like killed the kid
The
and put him
first
in the
guy finished
animatronic
his week
is
but
this guy.
complained about
Because you heard how he said
conditions.
that animatronics like
We
learn
switched him over
to
to
like
day shift.
come
So,
for like
hey, look,
predators
right?
and stuff. Since they
Mainly
come
he
in
expressed
after, they were like
concern
saying
that
that
certain
you're the
characters
predator.
seemed
That's
to
why
move
they
around
attack
at night
you.
and even attempted to get into his office.
That's
Now, from what we know, that should be impossible.
That's me.
That restaurant
You can wear a
takes
mask to
place on
hide, so
Earth.
they think you're
So
one.
while our engineers don't really have an
Bro,
explanation
I
for
can't. I'm
this,
already
the
jumping.
working theory is
That's
that
the new one. Now, why are you
robots
jumping
were never
already?
given a proper night mode.
I
So
suck
when
at
it
this
gets
shit.
quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect
This is still.
one of them. And as for the rest of them, we have an even easier solution. You see, there may be a minor glitch in the system, something about robots seeing you as an endoskeleton without a costume on and wanting to stuff you into a suit. So hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quartz modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close. But hey, you have a light, and even though your flashlight can run out of power, the building cannot. So don't worry about the place going dark. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to. Keep the music box wound up. Piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you
This game,
tomorrow.
you just have to worry about the flashlight. So you see how I can turn it on to see where they're at. If it turns dark, they'll just be there. I won't know. That's where they're mainly coming from. But you gotta keep the eyes on it. In the past, you close the door.
What if you have why?
I don't know. Oh, you can't do it mainly because this one, you have to wind up the music box. So the puppet doesn't. There's a puppet that comes out, but when the music box is playing, it'll be cool. I'm trying to get but I think they left. Oh shit. Yeah, there's Chica. And there's Bonnie. Look at them. You like the new designs? They're not as creepy, right? I think they're not as creepy. Oh, you can turn the light on too. Oh shit. That's Freddy. I forgot you can turn the light on in there. Can't get him from there. That's the old Bonnie, you see? The old Freddy. And old Chica,
Why do
yeah.
they look like that?
But they're all torn up now. They're not like their old self anymore. Look, look. She got hips now. They got bangs on her.
You're cheating.
She's right in front of me. What you think I'm gonna do? But the music. See the puppet came out. It's that damn box.
Where's the puppet?
It's in the box. So. Yeah.
Ew. That's the puppet. See the speaker.
Okay, where's the box? It's cheaper. You gotta get in the van. Where are you? Where you? Oh, that's the new Foxy. I don't know why he's all tore up though. He's like broken. Or something. Maybe the old Foxy. What the fuck? Yeah.
No.
He was in the vent too. He was waiting for me
I
to
see
do
it.
that.
I saw it in the corner of my eye. How can they jump at me?
I don't know if they see you. It's just so many buttons I have to press now, so I'm like fucking it up. Like, see that? It's like, that's enough. I don't know where the old Foxy is, though. And I think these can attack me too. Your turn. I'm tough.
Okay,
What's up?
what button? Because I don't know.
Okay. So, oh, oiled up. Oh my gosh. Okay, so press X. Leave the light. X. Oh.
Hello?
X.
See, I told you your first night wouldn't be a problem. You're a natural. By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them. They even started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell. So the company decided to just go in a whole new direction
Oh yeah,
and
you can
make them
attack you too.
super kid
Forgot
friendly.
about it.
Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around, but if they do, the whole Freddy head trick should work on them
Yeah,
too.
you see
So,
how easy the
whatever.
old ones are?
I love those old characters.
Why
Did
can't
you
we
ever
just
see
finish
Foxy
what?
the Pirate?
Because this
Oh,
one's
wait,
better.
Foxy. Oh yeah, Foxy. Hey, listen. That one was always a bit twitchy. I'm not sure if the Freddy head trick will work on Foxy. If for some reason he activates during the night,
Okay.
and you see him standing at the far end of the hall, just flash your light at him from time to time. Those older models would always get disoriented with
He
bright
said the
lights.
mask doesn't work on Foxy, you have to flash your
System
flashlight.
restart or something.
Because I actually did not know how to do it. He would have killed us every time.
Room where something
I
undesirable
did
might
not know
be.
that.
It might
He's
hold
already
in
out.
place for a few seconds.
You have to keep it wound
That
the whole
glitch might
time.
carry over to the newer models too. One more thing. Don't forget the music box. I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere. I don't think the Freddy mask will fool it. So
Really?
just don't forget the
Yeah,
music box.
so the Freddy mask doesn't work on him either. You just
Anyway,
gotta keep the
I'm
music
sure it
box.
won't be a problem. Have a good night, and I'll
So
talk to you tomorrow.
keep him wound up
Mm-hmm.
and flashbox. That's how you get him. You don't want to do it?
Bro, I don't know.
Do it.
I really don't know.
Do
Oh
it.
my goodness. I'm not gonna put my eyes
Do
closed.
it.
How am I doing?
You're playing with your baby, but
I have my eyes closed. So you.
you gotta do the music box. And he said, that's why the mask doesn't work
Ooh, I
because of
can't
Foxy
do
and
it.
him.
I can't do it. Bro, I need to memorize the buttons.
Look, the freaking the battery's almost dead. It didn't look like that on night one.
Yeah.
Wait, someone's in. Where are you going?
No, I got it.
Come back. I need you here. Look. You see him? He's all broken up.
Uh-huh.
It's the old fox. Yeah. Get out of here. Please, fox. Wait, hi, the balloon boy. It's the new Foxy too. Both Foxies pulled up on me.
Yeah, there's no way.
I think balloon boy's about to kill me. You hear him laughing? It's too much going on. Where's balloon boy? He's in the vent. He's in the vent. Here. Why does Foxy keep coming here, bro? Like, he's pissing me off. And where's Balloon Boy at? It's Freddy. Where did Chica come from? Where the hell did Chica come from? Hi, I'm new here. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoyed the screams. Where the hell did Chica come from? I saw, bro, it was Foxy, then it was new Foxy, old Foxy, Freddy, and then Chica pulled up and scared us.
I do not do jump scares. I'm sorry.
I'm still trying to figure out where the hell Balloon Boy was at, because he was up here laughing. I didn't even see him.
No. I do not do jump scares. I'm sorry, guys.
That just geeked me. He really pulled up out of nowhere.
How do you
Because they're fun. We were at like 4 hours, I think. We was at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m., one of the two. Damn, we gotta do it again. Your turn. That was supposed to be your turn. He said, hi, I'm new here. The freak. The freak is crazy. Who the freak? Do you know FNAF Lord? Yeah. It's been a minute, though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really remember. Can you remind me? Because, of course, I watched all the game theory videos. I just really... That was like 10 years ago, bro. It's so long ago.
What, is that a scary game?
No, FNAF is Five Nights at Freddy. That's the abbreviation. But there's this YouTuber who basically made like a whole lore video thing on it. And he broke down everything. But that was so long ago that I really don't remember. But this game has some crazy lore to it, though. There's some crazy lore. Can you remind us a little bit? Here, your turn. Go, your turn.
Okay, can it...
Your
Bro,
turn.
this game is not easy.
What you mean? I'll help you. Your turn. And I wanna play this. We're gonna play Walking Dead tomorrow by Telltale Games.
This is scary.
No. So there's a guy called William Afton. Okay. Is that the purple guy? The purple man? And is the purple man, is this who I'm playing right now? Am I the purple man? Because I remember they said something about there being, the puppets are attracted to perverts and stuff. And since they're coming after me, does that mean that my character is the pervert? I don't remember if that's accurate. But where did Balloon Boy go? I know, but last game, I'm really trying to figure out what happened.
You say you drop down kids like Freddy.
Yeah. Yeah, you will put them inside of the suit. There's still dead kids inside of these suits right now. Yeah. Hello, Pokemon crew. Welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy everything. We're playing FNAF 2.
Well, I thought you was gonna give it back to me. I'm like,
But
No.
you're not gonna play? You're gonna have me do it by myself? That's crazy.
I do not memorize the buttons.
That is crazy.
And these are 10, not 4.
Yeah, Balloon Boy's gone. Dude, what's good, Miguel Torres? What's good? What's good? She being scary. Y'all bully her into playing the game, bro. Call her scary, bro. Like, start bullying her because she pissing me off. I want her to play. She ain't gonna listen to me, but y'all bully her. Wait, you heard him?
Mm-hmm.
He said hello. Oh, Foxy's in here. Second Foxy. The broken Foxy confuses me though, because why is he broken? He's already broken. Oh my gosh. Scary, 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 yeah. Bully her. Bully her. How are you doing, guys? Pretty good, man. Pretty good. He's in the vents. He's in the vents. He's in the vents. Miguel Torres, I hope you're doing good, bro. How are you doing? His son, Michael Afton? His son, Michael? Wait, so the Purple Man's son is the... So the Purple Man's son is the killer? Did they ever confirm that? Look, look. Brought down his brother on his B-Day. So the killer's son... Wait. Can you read the stuff? I can't.
Yeah.
Here. Let's go.
Okay, he dropped down to Freddy. Can't figure out pizza. So we gotta go. Hi. Ooh, somebody's pointing at me. He got dropped down and came back, like, or hi. You wanna say hi? There. His son Michael.
William is the killer. The killer is the purple guy. His son is the security guard. Oh, really? The security guard's father's the killer? I never knew that. I stopped paying attention to the lore at that point.
I guess I'm a slow reader.
Yeah. I never knew that because I stopped paying attention to the games when the fourth one came out, so I never like learned the full lore. I never learned the full lore.
Who's William?
The purple guy. But basically he's the one who killed all the kids. No, I'm his son. But is the security guard the same person in every game, or is he different in every game?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like jump scare.
Nah, I just survived.
Really?
Yeah, Donnie was right there. Where's Chica at? There's Chica. Yep. Oh shit, they're both right here! They're both here! Why are they both right here? Yo, they're both waiting on me. Oh, Chica's here! Chica. I pressed the wrong button.
What type of scream was that?
Because I meant to put the mask up, and I put the... Oh my gosh. Hold on. It's only night 2. This game is harder. How did I beat this one, but I didn't beat the first one? This game is low-key a lot harder than the first one.
Bruh, there's freaking 10. You think I'm able to do this? No.
Hold on, I got this. So wait, so you mean to tell me that the same security guard he went from the security guard went to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, got attacked by 4 animatronics that were possessed by dead kids, and then he decided to go to a new Freddy Fazbear Pizza where he got attacked by 10 more animatronics. And then after that didn't work out, he was like, you know what, let me go to a 3rd location. He didn't learn his lesson the first 3 times. And so who's the killer? Who are you playing as in the 4th game? Because aren't you in like a bedroom or something? It says Frop down his brother on his birthday by his worst nightmare, chilling, just taking a break from playing Monster Hunter demo. That Monster Hunter demo was crazy. Did you beat the main boss? Because I beat Raydal and all the other monsters, but I haven't beaten the main one yet. I do want to fight him again. The killer's the purple guy and his son. He dropped down kids. Yes, same person. Trying to give kids free candy. William Afton did that. Game 4 is just a little brother of the security guard. Oh, that's a prequel. So that's the little brother of the security guard? So what, he's just tweaking out or something? Like he's having nightmares? Him got killed by his robot. He was killed by the robot. Who, Springtrap? To atone for his father. I need to just watch a video on YouTube. Did y'all get all this information from Game Theorist? Cause I'm following y'all, but now I'm like, this William, because back when I was paying attention, we just called him the purple guy. I didn't know this dude even had a name. I didn't know that the security guard and the killer were related, and I didn't know there was a little brother. Y'all are giving me a whole lot of information that I was not aware of. So, can I just watch his Game Theorist video and he'll explain all this, or what? Do I need to watch the most recent Game Theorist video on FNAF? Gracias. Yes. Alright, bet. I'm gonna just watch it. Thank you. Because, yeah, by the time the 4th game came out, I was like, they're kind of just dragging the series out. Because the third one was alright, but it was pretty much just Springtrap. So I was like, I don't really care about. I mean, like, Springtrap was alright. It wasn't a bad game. But I was like, if it's just Springtrap, I was like, eh. And then by the 4th one, I was like, now it's just nightmare versions of the same one. So I was like, man, we've seen this already. Ultimate Timeline by Game Theorist. That's that video. Is that his last video ever? Like, he hasn't made a video since then? Wait, did Game Theorist retire? He doesn't make videos anymore? Night 2 is crazy.
Do you see that?
Yes. Night 2 is insane, so that means Night 3. You know what's crazy though? I've been neglecting Freddy and Bonnie and Chica. That's why Chica keeps killing me, because I keep looking at everyone else but them. I'm focused on the puppet and the foxies. And the balloon boy. And I'm neglecting like the actual main 3. William killed 5 kids. He got killed by the 5 kids. Michael Afton did 5 pizza nights at Freddy's. He did. He sold the channel? Really? To who? Why he do that? He got tired of Game Theorist? And how much did he sell it for? It must have been like worth millions of dollars. He sold his channel.
I'm curious, why does it flash still?
They probably needed something else. Boxing, you know, he was always different. That door, like this camera stuff was different for him. So they was like, just give him flash to fuck with. But you said, hold on, you need to reread that part. You said William got killed. No, William Afton killed 5 kids. And then he got killed by the 5 kids. Afton did Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, and 3. He grew his brand, made 4 successful channels, and sold them to retire. He still helped from time to time behind the scenes, but for the most part, he retired. Doom Gamer, hi. What up, bro? I'm reading the chat. I'm not even paying attention. See, this is why you should have been playing. I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to learn the lore. While you might as well play. I'm trying to figure out the lore here. That's crazy. I didn't know about any of that stuff with Five Nights at Freddy's or with MatPat. So, if all that happened, did when William's son, right, Michael Afton, he knew his dad killed the kids? Like, you said that he's atoning for it by doing it. That's you. Why are you doing that? So you're saying that Michael Afton knew that his dad was the killer from the very beginning, and he just came to every location just so he could like atone for his dad's crimes and everything. He did 5 nights in SL and got killed by his now Michael is a purple guy and then played for wait. He did 5 nights in SL and got killed by his sis. Oh, sister location. He did 5 nights in sister location and got killed by his sis. And now Michael is the purple guy, then played 5 nights. 5 nights. What are we talking? There's 7 5 nights? And there's a sister. Yes, he learned that the spirits can be freed by burning the animatronics. So he got killed at the sister location? Not at the first 3? And the 4th one's a prequel. And then 5 through 7. Since when is there even a 5 through 7? Hey, you're about to get us killed. Are you even doing the thing?
Yeah, I actually did.
Oh, you were?
I was trying my best.
Wait, so what happened at the sister location? What's the lore on the sister location? His sister killed him? So his sister, what? Yeah, like what's happening with the sister location? What's the lore on that? Hey. Yeah, so the sister location, what's the lore with the sister location? And you said the purple guy is Michael like Michael's the purple guy?
Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry, I'm over here tweaking.
No, the puppet. But I can't, but Freddy's there. The puppet's about to kill me. Wait, so the purple guy is Michael or William? Because if the purple guy is William, that means William killed him. And then the purple guy is the security guard and the purple guy is the security guard? And that's how he's atoning? I blame you. There's 5 nights. Oh, it's a minigame. This one has minigames. Hold on. This is how we figured out the lore for a lot of the game. So in the first one, it was just the game. But this one, they had a lot of like weird lore things. So you see, that's the puppet. One of the kids just got killed and got turned into a puppet. And now you're following it around to see like, well, what's going on. Yeah, where's he going? That's the puppet. Yeah. The puppet is one of the main kids, I think. You see, that's a dead body. That's one of the kids. I don't know why he thinks that. He's going to a kid's party or something. There's more blood. Doing the alphabet. There's a present. It's a blood around the present. And that's like how the minigames work. It basically like fills you in with like the lore. But like a couple times if you keep passing the nights and dying. Hold on. Y'all are distracting me, but I'm so intrigued right now. Like, I really want to learn this. He did 5 nights in sister's location, got killed by his sister, and now Michael is a purple guy, then played 5 through 7 nights. Yes, he learned that the spirits can be free by burning the animatronics. There is 5 nights, 1 through 4. Sister location is FNAF 5. 6 is the mall one. I didn't know there was a mall one. Okay. Sister location is, as the name implies, a sister location mass distribute animatronics to house parties to kidnap more kids. Really? In this game, Michael gets killed, scoop out of his body, but quit die. Miguel, you're typing crazy right now. In this game, Michael gets killed, and then he's put his, and then. I don't know. Because Michael technically was dead and used a flesh skin suit to buy the animatronics entities name there in his decoding body. Bro, you're talking crazy. Decaying body turned purple. So Michael's body turned purple because he was decaying. So he was already dead. So he was a spirit doing all of this? The Springtrap is William, and Michael worked at FNAF 3, where William is. And then Michael got cooked, like, in every game. And then he burned 3 and 6 games on fire. Miguel, I know FNAF lore. Yeah, the lore gets out there. I'm so confused.
Just search it. Just search it.
Yeah, I know. This is, but from what y'all are telling me, this is what I think I'm understanding. William is the father, and he's the one who initially killed the 5 kids. William went to one of the locations, which is FNAF 3. He gets thrown into the Springtrap suit, because in FNAF 3 there's only one suit that's chasing you, and it's not one of the Fox Freddy's or none of them. I never knew where Springtrap came from. I didn't know what he was. He really was a random creature, and he was the only one there. And then all of them, it's like party areas, like Chuck E. Cheese looking things, like you see how they are. Springtraps was more like a warehouse. It looked like an abandoned warehouse. So that means he was the original animatronic. So when he killed the kids, I guess the kids stuffed him. He killed them, and then their spirits stuffed him in the Springtrap suit, I guess. And that's how Springtrap was created. And that's how Five Nights at Freddy's 3 happened. And the son is basically going from every location to make amends. But now they're saying the son is the purple guy. The purple guy is the one who's stuffing the kids in the suit. So how is he making amends if he's the one stuffing the kids in the suit? I thought William was the purple guy. So how is his son making an amends and he's the purple guy? I don't get it. Y'all confusing me. Just watch the video and answer nothing and everything. Yeah, y'all confusing me. I appreciate what y'all are trying to break down, but y'all making me more confused. Y'all did add more info, but y'all just confused the fuck out of me. We're still on night 2, y'all. We're still on night 2. We're going to finish this game tonight. Tonight. There's 2 purple guys? Oh, so it's William and William and his dad. I mean, William and Michael are the 2 purple guys. It's 2 of them. That makes sense. Okay. But who's the sister? And what did she have to do with it? You said the sister location is used for abducting more kids. So who runs the sister location? And didn't you say William got killed at the sister location? So what, Springtrap was at the sister location, and then actually, yeah, the sister location probably did have Springtrap in it, because when we see Springtrap, he's all broken. I wouldn't be surprised if Springtrap was like perfectly fine, like his suit looked good in the sister location. He looks like a broken down yellow bunny. So think about Bonnie, but yellow and like really tore up looking. But he's the only animatronic that was just fucked up from the beginning. I didn't know why. But that was Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So the sister location is 5. So if he got killed in the 5th game, that means that he originally got killed at the sister location, and then he got thrown in that area that he's in the 3rd game. Mama? No. I know. I'm somewhat figuring it out, though. I'm somewhat understanding what they're talking about. But MatPats are really good at explaining stuff, so I'm gonna just watch it.
You know, it's less scary.
The lights?
No. No! No!
Scared. Be scared.
Bro, why?
Can y'all see us?
No. Of course they can't.
Yes, they can.
Nah, bro, they only see your teeth.
Fine. I do have some nice teeth. That shit.
You see you got a shit? Ew! Ew! Wait, was that the chair?
That was the chair. No. The puppet. Fucking Freddy. Oh my gosh, Fox. One is represented by the purple color, Afron. and the other one, Michael, turned purple skin because his body was breaking down.
Wait a minute.
So one had purple color, and the other one was purple because his body was breaking down. When Afron was killing, he was wearing his golden bunny outfit.
Oh, fuck.
Why y'all getting me killed?
Let me play it.
Y'all getting me
Let me
killed.
play it. You read.
Yes, brother. I'm trying to understand the lore here. Hold on. You said when Afron was killing, he was wearing the golden bunny outfit. That serves as both the suit and animatronic. Oh. So in the third game, was he alive or was he dead already? So that means he, like, you know how the kids' spirits are in the other animatronics? So the third game, his spirit wasn't in the animatronic. He was just running around actually trying to kill us then. When Afron was killing, he was wearing the golden bunny outfit, which served as both suit and animatronic. Sister location lore now. His sis is a baby, and baby. Wait, his sis is a baby, and baby, the other robots become each other, and use the scooper to kill Michael. What is the scooper? Take turns. Damn.
Yo.
I want to get past night 2. I'm dragging it. I ain't about to read anything y'all say until I'm done with this, because I'm getting distracted.
But his hatred, his spirit got to the golden bunny.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. You two sound like y'all know the lore, but the way you two are typing is hurting my head. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Write all this down.
The way you two are typing is pissing me off.
And you're right here.
Yes, bro. I'm trying to decipher. Like, forget deciphering the lore. I'm trying to decipher what you two are texting.
Also, baby is the name of the clown girl who
That must be the puppet. Clown spirit, the puppet.
clown. Have I seen all this?
Yeah, the puppet. I didn't know she was the clown spirit. I always called her the puppet. But yeah, I think he's talking about her. I guess. I didn't know that. To write all this down. Wait, so he killed his sister? Oh wait, I get what he's saying now. Hold on.
It works that much.
Nah, literally.
I'm trying.
Literally.
I'm trying.
Wait, so you're saying baby? Every time you said baby, that's what was throwing me off. Baby's the name of the puppet. The clown spirit is named Baby.
So that's baby.
Yes, this is Baby. And Baby is Michael's sister. Which means he killed his sister and put her in this puppet suit. So why did you say he's making amends? He's not making amends, he's just killing kids like his dad did.
Baby killed his.
Oh, Baby killed his sis?
Yeah, often accidentally killed his daughter.
He accidentally killed his own daughter? How do you accidentally kill your daughter? But they really be trying to jump you in this game.
No.
I don't understand how I beat this shit. I honestly
You
don't.
played this before?
I beat this one before. And I don't understand how I beat it. Like, how did I even beat this shit? This is only the second night. But it's impossible.
You know, I'm starting to get used to it.
You are?
Yeah, I'm starting to
Alright,
get
bet,
used
your
to
turn.
it.
Because it's throwing me, because to this day, I tried playing FNAF 1 10 years ago. I couldn't beat it. I tried playing FNAF 1 recently. I still couldn't beat Night 5. This night, second game, I beat it. How'd you do that?
What the hell was that?
Why are you jumping?
Because what was that noise?
Oh, I have a horn.
Oh, can I scare this? Can I scare this?
That might work against somebody. I don't know who though, but it might work. Maybe when you have your suit on, just hit it. Baby killed his sister. Yeah, Afron accidentally killed his daughter. No, Michael is freeing the spirits. Baby is the robot that killed Afdon's kid. His sis is Elizabeth. You got it. Okay, so the purple man, Michael, is basically freeing the spirits. Oh, so his dad, the original purple man, killed. Oh my gosh. You're not even in the screen.
No, I'm scared. I'm tweaking. Yeah.
No, your turn. So, this is the breakdown. The original purple man, William,
I'm sweating.
put on the Springtrap suit,
I'm sweating.
and he started killing the kids, right? That's what happened originally. He started killing the kids. Then, after he got, you need to do the puppet. Then, that's not the puppet. You're putting a mask on. Then, after he got finished killing the kids, he started turning purple. He would wear purple. What was purple? His suit? He would just wear a purple suit when he would jump in the suit, the animatronic suit. Then, after he did that, basically, flashing. After he did that,
How do I use the horn? No, it does not work.
you need to wear the mask. The mask doesn't work right now. So then, after he finished killing the kids,
Go
his son,
away.
basically, you need to do the other one too. The puppet. That's not the puppet. You're wearing a mask. You have to put the thing on.
You know, I can't think right now. I'm just pressing whatever.
I see that.
She actually.
Oh, as I said, you got them things on it. So after I can't even talk. Hold on. It's only 2 a.m. But our flashlight's pretty good. Foxy, please. Where did Bonnie go?
Oh hell! She's right in front. No.
No, the other thing, the puppet. Puppet's trying to get out.
I can't feel it, bro. I can't feel it.
So basically, after William killed the kids in his Springtrap suit, Michael became the second purple man. And his job was to free the spirits. So he intentionally became the security guard for building 1, 2, and 3. After he became the security guard, he freed this. Well, he didn't free them because then the animatronics came to the next location. Like, they came to the second location. So he tried in the first game, it didn't work. So then he tried in the second game, and I guess it might have worked there. Then when he was freeing them in the second game. So what's with Springtrap? Is Springtrap a spirit or is Springtrap the actual person? And then after that happened, he accidentally killed his daughter. And then Elizabeth killed. Where the hell was Elizabeth at though? What's good, Rush Gaming? Welcome to the channel. Afron's dad, killer. Puppet, Afron's first kill. Oh, so the puppet's the first one who got killed. Okay. So Afron's dad killed the puppet. Afron's first kill. Michael, security guard, is the older son. Okay, so he's the eldest son. Elizabeth is the daughter/sister. And she was killed by an animatronic named Baby. Okay. That all makes sense now. Okay. Afron's color motive is purple. He wears purple with his bunny suit. Okay. Michael had his organs scooped out by a machine to make space for the main components of his sister's location. Wait, hold on. What the hell?
Yo. Esto no me gusta. No me gusta para nada.
What are you even talking about? You speaking a whole nother lingo. What you say? You don't like this thing again? That's not
Okay, so who's here? Who's there?
Young boy's still there, so that's good. Chica and Bonnie on the phone. Okay. Can't those paper plate puppets attack too? Look, on the wall.
Yeah, no. What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure they can attack you.
Oh.
I think they can. Or they can disappear. I know they do something. There's something about them.
Hello.
You know what's crazy? These ones still haven't even moved yet. So imagine what they do. Afron got killed by spring trap. That's how.
Yo. Oh my goodness.
Yo, why is Night 2 pissing me off so much? Like, why is Night 2 blowing me like this? Afron got killed by Springtrap. That's how he died. Spring locks are things that hold the suits in place. For someone to be in the suit, you move to get much or get water on it, you get spring locked. Oh, so basically the suit malfunctioned and it trapped him inside. He was killing kids in the Springtrap suit, and then it basically short-circuited and it trapped him and killed him. That's how he died. He died in the Springtrap suit. Gotcha. Webcam, I got you. Thank you. Yes, that's why his body is breaking down and rotting. Skin coloring purple. Okay. So Michael, actual purple guy, is purple skin guy. Okay, cool. Makes sense. What's up, y'all? What's up? So, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. That's a prequel to what? Whose little brother is that? What he was like, and how does that tie into like the story? Because it like didn't malfunction because of water. Yeah, and how did 4 play into this? And I'm still confused on who, like, where did Baby come from? Did you just start a new game? Okay, we're back to night 1, guys. I don't know how you ended up going to night 1.
Bro.
But we're back on night 1. Yeah, when the spring locks got wet, he got killed by 100 of metal springs clamped on.
Hello and welcome to your new summer
So,
job
4
at the
and
new
6,
improved
or 5.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first
we have a lot of
week
new people in
to
here. What's
help
up,
you
y'all?
get
What's up,
started
y'all?
down
Welcome to the
this new
stream.
and exciting career path.
But
now I want you to forget anything you may
and
have
what's
heard
happening with the
about
6
the old
game?
location,
Because I don't even understand the 6
Some
game
people
at
still
all.
have a somewhat negative impression of the company.
FNAF 4 is the younger brother / younger
That
son
old
of the Afton
restaurant
family.
was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you,
Okay.
Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety.
We
They
started
spent a small fortune
Yes,
on
I
these new
don't even understand how you
animatronics.
did that.
Facial recognition,
It
advanced
said new
mobility.
game continue.
They even let them walk around
Continue was the
today.
first option.
Isn't that neat?
Bro, I'm
But most
not familiar
importantly,
with it. I told you
they're all
that.
tied to some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away. Heck, we should be paying them to guard you. Now that being said,
So who
no
is this
new
guy?
system is without its
Who's the guy on the phone?
You're only the second guard work at that location. The first guy finished his week, but complained about conditions.
And who was the first guy?
Over to the day shift. So, hey, look.
Yeah, like who's the guy on the phone call? Is that the same guy in every game? Or is that somebody new each game?
And even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible.
Peak,
that
yes sir, yes sir.
Place on Earth.
Phone guy? Yeah, who's the phone guy?
Have an explanation for this. The working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. And as for the rest of them...
And he seems like he knows too much. I feel like Phone Guy is a part of this. My bad. 6 is Pizzeria Simulator and the mall one is the 7th one. What's the mall one? And this one has 7 Security Breach? Yeah. But yeah, Phone Guy seems like he knows too much, so is he like a part of this?
Eventually anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quirky modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close. But hey, you have light, and even though your flashlight can run out of power, the building cannot. So don't worry about the place going dark. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to. Keep the music box wound up. Piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Listen to Slipknot. 6 is the last game you play as Michael, because it's FNAF. Because it's a final trap to lure in all the animatronics of all the games and burn them, along with Michael to end it all. You should play Help Wanted. It's really fun. I should. Yeah, nah, I haven't. The music box. 11. The music box. Oh. The last Five Nights at Freddy's game I played was 4, but I wasn't indulging in the lore at 4. So really, I stopped paying attention to the lore after the 3rd game came out, the Springtrap game. Yeah, 7 is Security Breach, the mall, Pizza Plex. So 6 is the last one that you play as Michael, because he basically gets everybody and he burns them. So what's the issue in the mall game? If all the animatronics were burned and killed, then what's happening in that? And is the only purpose of the 5th game just to show that the sister was killed? And that baby killed her? That's the only thing that they showed in that one? Or you play as the victim of the bite of 87. Oh, really? So the victim of the bite of 87 is his little brother? I didn't know that. And that explains why you're in his bedroom and you see the animatronics and they look all scary like that, because he's a little kid projecting them as like these scary looking monsters. Because he saw them at the pizza shop and then he's like, oh, he's having nightmares about them. That makes sense. The 4th game was like a horror game. Like they all just look scary. And that's why, because he's a little kid projecting. Makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And instead of you being in an office, he was in like his bedroom. Like you saw his closet, his toys. Okay. I don't want to play FNAF 2 because the console part is terrible and I'm on PlayStation. Yes. Nah, it is. That's what I'm saying. I'm on PlayStation and this is a lot harder because when I beat FNAF 2, but I was playing it on iPhone. Playing it on iPhone is 20 times simpler than on PlayStation. Because like on iPhone it's like all the buttons are just on the screen. With PlayStation it's like trying to remember like 20 different buttons and keys and shit. That's what's throwing me off. Bro. You're in my dying bed. Yeah. Oh, did he die? The kid was in the dying bed. Did he die? His deathbed? breathing so hard, dude. Damn. Nigga breathes like a fat man. Yes. Damn. So the Vitamin 87 kid died. All of this started because of the bite of 87, which is basically when one of the animatronics bit the frontal lobe off of the little kid. But he basically walked up to a kid and bit his head and like took a chunk out of it. And that's what basically started everything. Yeah, that's what started everything. You want to react to it? Like the MatPat video?
Yeah.
Bet. Because honestly, I want to react to it. Like, 5 a.m. bet. I really want to react to it. Y'all, do you want to see us keep playing this for like another hour? Or do you just want to watch the MatPat video with us? What do y'all want to do? I'm going to do a poll.
Please choose the second.
I'm going to do a poll. We're going to continue to play this whenever, but for right now, I really just want to learn the lore so I can just stop being confused.
Talking and getting
I know, I'm up here
so
talking and it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Pat, lore video, or keep playing FNAF 2. Pat, play FNAF 2. Which one y'all want to do? Because I'm very curious on just seeing the lore at this point. So I can stop looking at the chat and when I could be playing the game. His is like, when I play a game, I try to get the platinum trophy, and I just got the platinum trophy for Help Wanted and Help Wanted 2. Oh, alright. His dead was the gate that made Fire down on this. Do it. React to the lore. I picked. Okay, so everybody's saying a lore. Alright, bet. Let's watch the lore real quick. Let's watch the lore. Because this is actually, like, this is a really good lore, too. Like, it's actually really good. I didn't know that was his last video, though. That's crazy. Game Theorist has been making videos for years, and then he just ended it. The video's an hour and 26 minutes long. But there's a lot of lore, so I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Combined. Wait. This is not Game Theorist. What the hell? He made 109 FNAF videos. What the fuck? That's MatPat right there.
The one that created the
game. No, it's just a YouTuber who played the game. But I didn't know he made 109 videos. Are you serious? What was that? Did I just get a new subscriber? I missed it. Damn. I missed it. Yo, back. What was that? I missed it. What happened? I think we just got a new sub to the channel, maybe. Was that a sub? I heard the boom sound in the Goku pop up, but
The Goku?
Yeah, I basically made it so like Goku will pop up anytime. I think it's when subs go off, maybe. I don't remember. Oh, we're at 9 likes, good y'all. Keep going. Let's get to 25 likes, maybe even 30. Let's keep going. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Okay. Can I unsub for a second? I need to. Yeah, go ahead, unsub. And resub. Wink, wink. Yeah, he did his decade and say I'm out. He said, yeah, he did his decade and said I'm out to raise my kid. I didn't even know that. So he basically just turned the whole channel into Five Nights at Freddy content? Because I thought he was making game videos on like every game. Like, it was Game Theorist. I thought he did like every game, like not just one. I know FNAF was like his most popular, but I didn't think that was the only thing he was doing though. I thought he had plenty of other videos that he was doing. Don't forget to drop a like. Yeah, everybody drop likes. Drop likes. That's crazy though that he really just made straight game FNAF videos and that was it. It's just a theory, a game theory. It's sick. They're like every FNAF game. Damn. Honestly, I didn't even. You're back, bet. I didn't see the pop up though this time. I didn't even know that he made what's it called? I didn't know they even made 7 games. That's the crazy part. Yeah. What's it say? Look, it says thanks for subscribing. Joyful underscore Just. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you.
Yay.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, bet. Let's get to game theory though. The ultimate guide. Oh, okay. I'm definitely not about to watch all
Do you
of
know what
it.
happened?
Yes, over here. Look, they just made a new FNAF video 8 hours ago. They're still dropping FNAF videos. Like, why are they still dropping FNAF videos? But he's getting 12 million views, 500K, and it's just 8 hours. Like, as far as I'm concerned, FNAF stopped being popular like at least 5 years ago. It's still popular apparently. I didn't know that. I did not know that. They really dragged this shit. That's tough. I ain't mad at it. I would have dragged it too.
19 books, 11 games.
Yeah.
11 games.
They made 11 games of what? And 19 books of what? Like, you gotta actually really appreciate the hustle though, because this was all created by just one guy. Like, the first Five Nights at Freddy's game was like a very simple project by someone named like Scott Coughlin, and he just made that game, and it just blew up and went viral. So I'm like, the fact that he was able to make 11 games and like 19 books all within the matter of like 10 years.
19 books.
19 books and 11 games in 10 years. You know how rich he got off of that? And he just randomly just made a game that blew up. And it's still popular. That's crazy. Alright, y'all can hear me? Y'all can see me? We good? We good, y'all? Y'all good? Everything looks straight? Yes, sir? Yes, sir?
Games 8 whole years, all leading to this moment. The ultimate FNAF timeline.
It's the headset. But then there's the other one. Archer off the route timeline part 1. He made a video on it. Girl, he can better be praying to you sit there and look. Kara said, girl, he better be paying you to sit there and look so pretty. I know you got better things to do. Man, she ain't got nothing better to do but to make videos with me, man. Type shit. Type shit. Yeah. Scott was in his last game when he made the FNAF. It was his last hurrah. Kara, what do you mean? Watch the off the roof video? Oof Troop video? Is Oof Troop better than Game Theorist now? Oof Troop.
Thank you for the compliment.
Game Theory. Afron. When did he even release the information on Purple Man? You said, good thing I didn't have my headphones on. So massive. Watch Oof Troop be better. Oof Troop, like, I'm confused. That video's not popping up anywhere. Oof Troop doesn't pop up for me. That video's not popping up anywhere. Which one? Which one? Which video? You said watch the Oof Troop video, or do I watch the Game Theorist video? The Ultimate Timeline one. But this is P Gaming. I don't even know what that is.
Now all we have to do is put this story of tragedy jealousy, and law back together. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory! The show that feels like a kid revealing the class project he's been working on all year. Except here, it's the class project that I've been working on for the past decade of my life. This one is big, my friends. I gotta admit, I'm kind of nervous. I haven't attempted a timeline video on this franchise since 2018, back in the days when Mike was the crime.
That's 8 million views. Not that one. Alright, which one? Oh, this one? The canon Five Nights at Freddy timeline. This is as part 1 though. Where's the rest? Like, I want to see like the whole thing. There's 10 videos. Oh, okay, they're not all there. So it's like 5 videos.
28 minutes, 30, 35.
So these are the 5 y'all want me to watch? That one, the echo is crazy. Is it? Yo, Spiral Boy Adventures good. I'm glad all y'all got recommended over here though. I do like this. Can y'all hear me now? Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Alright, how about now? Is that good? Y'all can hear me?
But hey.
I can hear that. Hold on. Put this for a second. Oh, shoot.
My ass moved. It's pretty tight. Bruh.
Alright. Jared's making his own jump scare sounds. Type shit.
That's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Hey, you.
Hello.
You look like you're interested in some FNAF lore. Sick of all the speculation? Do you want something that's undeniably canon? Oh. Well, let's do that. I'm telling you anyway. The year was 1983, January.
Everybody grab y'all popcorn. You about to enjoy the game. The show.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks.
Hey, you. You look like you're interested in some FNAF lore. Sick of all the speculation? Do you want something that's undeniably canon? Oh. Well,
Hello.
let's do that. I'm telling you anyway.
Everyone, we got 10 people. Let's get the Let's get to 20 likes, y'all. We got 20 likes. Let's get to 20 likes. We're at 11.
The year was 1983, January to be exact. Local nobodies Henry and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not once in their life have they ever caught a glimpse of a yellow grizzly bear. It was then their fates were sealed, and they knew that they must fulfill their destiny. Henry and William were something of robotics enthusiasts, so they finally used their untapped potential to create the most realistic animatronic bear imaginable. On their first attempt, they made a decrepit,
Bro, the echo is crazy. Echo was killing my ears? Yeah, I see. Hold on.
and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not once in their life have they ever caught a glimpse of a yellow grizzly bear. It was then their fates were sealed, and they They knew that they must fulfill their destiny. Henry and William were something of robotics enthusiasts, so they finally used their untapped potential.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Hey you. You look like you're interested in some FNAF lore. Sick of all the speculation? Do you want something that's undeniably canon? Oh. Well, that's too bad. I'm telling you anyway. The year was 1983, January to be exact. Local nobodies Henry Emily and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not once in their life have they ever caught a glimpse of a yellow grizzly bear. It was then their fates were sealed, and they knew that they must fulfill their destiny. Henry and William were something of robotics enthusiasts, so they finally used their untapped potential to create the most realistic animatronic bear imaginable. On their first attempt, they made a decrepit, muddy yellow bear with giant teeth and claws. This wasn't realistic. William, however, the year was 1983, January to be exact. Local nobodies Henry Emily and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not one. The year was 19.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Suddenly they noticed that not one. The year was 19.
Why can y'all not hear me? Why the hell can y'all not hear me? No, you can't. Now I can't. It said sound is off.
I can hear you when you said, why can't I? I can hear you.
So is it going in and out? Wait, so you can hear me now? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hey
You
you,
guys hear me?
you look like you're interested in some FNAF
Can
lore.
you hear me? Can you hear
Sick
me?
of all the speculation? Do you want something that's undeniably canon?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh.
Can you hear me? Now I
Well,
can hear you.
that's too bad. I'm telling you anyway.
Yeah? Y'all can hear me?
The year was 1983, January to be exact. Local nobodies Henry and Lee and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not once in their life had they ever caught a glimpse of a yellow grizzly bear. It was then their fates were sealed, and they knew that they must fulfill their destiny. Henry and William were something of robotics enthusiasts, so they finally used their untapped potential to create the most realistic animatronic bear imaginable. On their first attempt, they made a decrepit, muddy yellow bear with giant teeth and claws. This wasn't realistic. William, however, remembered that in the trunk of his car was a cluster of discs that could emit audio frequencies that would fool people into seeing real bears. They slapped those bad boys on this animatronic, and suddenly it took the form of a beautiful golden grizzly, who they then named Ferdinand von.
This is the one, y'all. This is the one.
But hey, that's
Everything was
just
good.
a
Good.
theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Hey you look like you're interested in some FNAF lore. Sick of all the speculation? Do you want something that's undeniably canon? Oh. Well, that's too bad. I'm telling you anyway. The year was 1983, January to be exact. Local nobodies Henry and Lee and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not once in their life had they ever caught a glimpse of a yellow grizzly bear. It was then their fates were sealed, and they knew that they must fulfill their destiny. Henry and William were
Really?
something of robotics
My
enthusiasts,
sound is lower
so
than
they
the
finally
video? The
used their
video's low as
untapped
shit.
potential to create the most realistic animatronic
about
bear
now?
imaginable.
How about
On
now?
their first
Y'all can hear
attempt,
me?
they made a decrepit, muddy yellow
No, y'all
bear
can
with
hear me
giant
now.
teeth and claws. This wasn't realistic. William, however, remembered that in the trunk of his car rested a cluster of discs that could emit audio frequencies that would fool people into seeing real bears. They slapped those bad boys on this animatronic, and suddenly it took the form of a beautiful golden grizzly, who they then named Ferdinand von Bernard. Not only did he look the part and have a voice like honey butter, but the mind-altering audio accidentally gave him sentience and cosmic power beyond our human understanding. This was very dangerous, but the partners in furry shenanigans were not swayed. That is, until the entire town evacuated at the sight of this golden beast. Turns out, people are scared of loose bears. Who would have thunk it? Of course, this fear wasn't for nothing. Ferdinand was caught dining on a local restaurant owner, and he fled from the crime scene before law enforcement could get to him. William and Henry realized they had been a slight bit overzealous with their first creation. Good thing is, literally nobody knew or cared who they were, so they got away with this scot-free. Later that month, they designed an animatronic simply based on Ferdinand's likeness. This character was quite a downgrade, being both simpler and stupider. This didn't matter to the duo, though, as they loved their creation, and with that, Fredbear was born. At first, they had nowhere to actually put him, so they opted for the dump. He was truly
Turn the
a
video
diamond
up.
in the rough. Amazingly, this attempt at entertainment was amusing enough to the citizens of Hurricane that they gave William
Is
and
that
Henry
good?
enough money to afford a recently vacated diner
Is that good?
space.
I can hear
Fredbear
it.
was going to be a star. Unfortunately, this animatronic was extremely poorly designed. and
That means they're the ones
attempts
who
at
created
granting
the
artificial
Fazbear,
intelligence quickly
like,
turned
location.
south. On
They
February
created it
31st, 1983,
as
his
a
first
spot
performance on stage in front of children prompted him to spontaneously combust from a nervous breakdown. William and Henry, heartbroken at this tragic event, cracked down to ensure this would never happen again. This also prompted William to threaten the United States government, and they met his demands to strike February 31st from the calendar forever. After that, they set their sights on making something with no flaws. But then they made spring-lock suits. In an attempt to both ease the animatronic's nerves and not allow them their legally required breaks, Henry and William created mechanisms that could lock the endoskeleton parts to the inner edges of the suit for a person to climb inside and cover for the character. For extra safety precautions, they created a partner for the new Fredbear 2.0 to ease his nerves. For some reason, the best name they came up with for Fredbear's partner was Spring Bonnie. William was insistent on this name, and Henry felt too threatened to argue against it. Where the safety precautions ended, however, was the fact that the spring locks holding the endoskeleton pieces away from a person's vital organs were made out of paper clips, and the lightest sneeze could set them off. Truly brilliant inventors, those two. the dynamic duo had now created a dynamic duo. William was the only one who had the nerve to actually test the springlock suit, and it turned out he enjoyed dancing around as a yellow rabbit a little too much. Henry was unbothered by this though, as William was still perfectly capable of handling their finances in character. A few months had gone by, and Fredbear's Family Diner was an absolute success. Not only were Fredbear and Spring Bonnie beloved by the now enlightened Mormon population of Utah, William even managed to lock in a deal with a low-budget animation studio in order to make a cartoon called Fredbear and Friends. The one downside, though, was the studio needed more characters and they refused any more yellow ones. Out of obligation, Leopold, Theodore, Mirabella, and Foxy were created. No, Mirabella's not yellow, she's Xanthophyll. You're just seeing things. Surely these blights to everything William and Henry stood for would never see the light of day in any other context. William and Henry were at their peak, and William finally regained custody of his children. However, one of his sons, whose name has been stricken from the record, waltzed into the back room of Fredbear's and saw Fredbear smoking a cigar. Fredbear's blatant nonchalance about his respiratory health was truly traumatizing for the child. In a panic, the child started to run out the door but accidentally tripped over the foot of Spring Bonnie. Unbeknownst to him, the animatronic was being worn by Harold the janitor, and this collision was enough to snap open the flimsy spring locks and impale Harold every which way. Harold's soul, heartbroken by his untimely demise and his boss's backup fursuit, transformed into pure agony, and he became a shadow creature.
So the first one killed was Harold, which was William's partner. And the first one who was killed was inside a spring trap, or Spring Bonnie, which is Spring Trap. And he was killed by the kid who was in the bite of 87. Okay, we got that.
He gave himself a really cool name, but unfortunately he never learned how to spell, so it came out like this.
So he basically became a
with
spirit.
witnessing this occur, the child went home and invited his older brother, Michael, to play a game of Uno with him. However, there was foul play. This child was actually just a terrible human being and slid extra cards into the deck, causing Michael to draw 4, 8 turns in a row. Enraged, Michael threw on a Foxy mask and started screeching at the child. The child, annoyed by his behavior, decided to humor Mike until he got bored of doing this and pretended to sob 24/7. Maybe, just maybe, this would guilt trip him. However, Michael was far more resilient than the child anticipated, and this behavior kept going for a whole week. The child, craving literally anything else to do with his time, walked into Fredbear's again in an attempt to face his fears before getting cornered by Trevor the cashier wearing a Fredbear suit. The child saw the reasoning for this, as Trevor was holding a gnat for a mediocre dentist's office in his hand, and so the child deliberately ran into Trevor to set off the spring locks in this suit. Trevor's spirit, a bit relieved by the matter in all honesty, turned into a more chill shadow creature that just kind of walked around convincing people to join his convoy.
No,
The child returned.
the kid killed the dude who was in the suit.
By accident.
No, he intentionally did it. The first guy he accidentally killed by tripping on him. That was Springtrap suit. Then the dude who was in the Golden Freddy suit, he said that he got mad at him, so he just pushed him to set off the traps and killed the dude inside of him. So now there's 2 spirits. The spirit of Golden Freddy and the spirit of Golden or Springtrap.
But those two were
And they were both they were both adults, and they were both killed by the little boy. One was unintentional, the other one was intentional.
Returned home, completely okay with the fact he just killed a man, and told his
Harold was a
predator
janitor wearing the
everything he
suit.
did.
That's why you sometimes see shadow animatronics of
The
Bunny
next
and
day,
Fredbear.
Michael and his
Okay,
Uno
okay,
buddies
okay.
barged into the child's room to take him to Fredbear's for his birthday.
makes sense.
The child was still committing to the crying act, but this was a bad idea as it just made them come up with the idea of shoving him in Fredbear's mouth. So, that's exactly what they did.
And this is
They
how the
mockingly
Vitamin
told the
B7
child to give Fredbear a big kiss,
It
which
wasn't
the
an accident,
animatronic
his
took
brother did
immediate
it.
notice of. This was a very dangerous situation for his career, so without thinking, Fredbear clamped down his jaw on the child's skull. This terrified Michael and his friends
Yeah,
for
that's the actual robot. Because apparently the robots had like consciousness and stuff. So he said that he didn't know what to do, so he just bit the kid child's head. So that's how the bite of 87 happened. Because I never knew it was always like the bite of 87. What did the robot just tweak out one day and just bit the kid's forehead off? But no, his big brother picked him up and shoved him in the thing's mouth,
Trying to be funny.
and then he bit his head off. So that's how that happened. And that's the kid that you play as in the 4th game.
about 5 seconds until the child hopped out of it unscathed. Turns out William and Henry gave the animatronics rubber teeth.
Oh, he was
Great
actually
safety
unharmed.
feature. The child was livid and threatened to do the job again Mike didn't really know what this meant, but it sounded scary enough for his buddy Jeremy Fitzgerald II to knock the child unconscious with a chair. This only distressed Michael more, so he rushed the child to the hospital where he was diagnosed with a mild concussion. When the child awoke, he looked at Michael and told him that he never existed. When Michael asked what that was supposed to mean, the child fused with him and turned a little bit paler. This was just a very bad day for Michael. When
Was
he
he
went to
dead or
tell
something?
William about it, William had no clue what he meant by little brother. He told Mike to stop making up stories, trash that disrespectful mask, and take up engineering. This sounded good enough for him, so that's what he did. But, turns out, the employees at Fredbear's called the police because Harold and Trevor's bodies were just laying on the floor, and nobody cared to do anything about it until right then. So, the restaurant was shut down, and the news media blamed it on the bite of 83 in order to abruptly end Fredbear's career. They were just jealous. William and Henry were back to square one.
83 or 80? No, the bite of 87. So really, there was no bite of 83. Okay.
News media blamed it on the bite of 83 in order to abruptly end Fredbear's career. They were just jealous. William and Henry were back to square one because of the abundant controversy and
Harold was
they laid low for a couple of years.
So the two people who died were
they
just
finally
random
opened a new
employees.
location. With the amount of money they had earned from Fredbear's, they were luckily capable of buying out a new restaurant space with ease. Unfortunately, Fredbear was publicly executed 2 years prior. So, William and Henry did the unthinkable. They made animatronics of the cartoon characters they had made out of reluctant necessity. Leopold was their immediate decision for
So
the
actually, the first game we played, that's the second location. The one with the original the one from the third game that Springtrap is in, that's the original location. Remember how I said it was really broken down and looked like a warehouse?
Mm-hmm.
That's the original spot that they said got shut down. So the original spot only had Golden Freddy and Springtrap. Those were the original two. They were the crew from the third game. And so that's why by the time we get to the third game, he looks all torn up and broken because he hasn't been used since since the original days.
Mm-hmm.
And since the first game started here at the second location, that's why they looked all new and everything, and he was abandoned. I get it now.
mascot,
Get it.
as he was actually a bear. He wasn't golden, but he would do.
Wait,
But
this
that
is
name didn't exactly
Briar?
resonate with the public, so
The
after
crying child
5
set
seconds of
Springtrap lock
brainstorming, they
and got
renamed
bit,
him
yeah.
Freddy Fazbear. The initial plan was for him to be partnered with Spring Bonnie, but William refused to work with any type of grizzly that wasn't golden. So, Henry opted to rebrand Theodore to simply Bonnie,
So he
and that
became
worked well enough.
Unless he didn't
However,
wanna
making
work
these
with
two
these
characters
characters.
so
Golden
derivative
Bonnie.
of their superior counterparts worried Henry.
So they were basically the
as the
bootleg
public
version.
could possibly see through their roots.
And we never
So
saw the thing is with Golden Freddy, there's a hidden animatronic that's in all the games, which is that original Golden Freddy bear. He can show up in the first game and the second game, but it's like random. We just never got it. But at one point, if we're playing or whatever, he might just pop up and scare us. But it's like so rare that it's like you probably won't see it or something.
They added another character to the band to distract people, Mirabella. Given the fact that she didn't have overtly feminine characteristics, though, Henry and William renamed her Chica to make sure any Spanish speakers knew she was a girl. There was one last
Yeah,
cartoon
okay,
character they
Chica.
could use, being Foxy the Pirate. This was a gimmick that the Fredbear and Friends show added to drive up ratings. Henry was fine with the concept, but William hated it. For the time being, the partners settled on shoving him in the corner of the building, far away from the three they actually tolerated. After opening the location, however, the two quickly realized that children didn't actually care about the three stage performers. Something about theming being more interesting. As more and more children flocked around Foxy's Pirate Cove, William immediately ran up and kicked the boar animatronic in the kneecaps. This put him out of order for the time being,
And that's why
William
he's
tore him up
broken
after
like
closing
that.
to ensure it would stay that
It's
way.
sensitive.
Somehow this didn't scare anyone
they
away,
still kept
and everyone
breaking.
just immediately piled back over to watch Freddy sing about bullfighting. Henry and William were truly living the life. They lost their beloved golden animals, sure, but they were still happy. That is, until one fateful day.
The bite of it.
borrow $5?
Yeah, sure.
Well, not actually this specific day. It was 2 days after this that things fell to pieces. William, after a long day of work, was extremely hungry. He may be wondering why he didn't just eat dinner at Freddy's, but truth be told, he hated the pizza there. They blew all their budget on
Why did the webcam go out? Damn it. The fuck? Why are you doing this to me? Yeah, it is. But, you know what I'm saying? I do not want to use that one. Where are you going? All right, we're back.
I'm so confused why he didn't like Foxy.
I don't know either. I guess because he wasn't original. He liked the original like bear and rabbit duo.
Like the golden one.
Yeah. Yeah. This timeline is more like a joke one. MatPat goes more into detail. Yeah, I'm hip. Check it out, Fantastic Remixer. I'm Check It, Fantastic Remixer. Go Diego, go deep inside the jungle where nature is running wild. Coming to the rescue is a very special child. Taking to the animals and swinging to... What the fuck are you even talking about? This timeline is missing a lot what the community has come to work with in the actual lore. Yeah, I can kind of tell. He like sometimes I'm like, is he even being serious or is he joking? I'm gonna watch it for now, but I do want to see the MatPat version. I might watch that on my own.
Good tablecloths. So, instead, he opted to drive down to a local rundown Carl's Jr. on that fateful, rainy Tuesday night. Hello, I'd like an original Angus burger and a large Coca-Cola.
That'll be $5, please.
This was the moment that William Afton snapped.
Oh,
Well, my $5. In a fit of rage, William sped 1 mile over the speed limit and pulled up at Freddy's to enact revenge on Henry. However, by pure chance, Henry's daughter Charlie was locked out of the building. William, attempting to help her back in, looked at her in the eyes trying to explain his plight. However, with the rage in his heart at that very moment, his mere stare was a death sentence. Charlie flopped over immediately from this. William, panicking over this murder, threw her in the alley next to the
wait,
restaurant.
nah, this is actually confusing me now, because...
Bro, what?
Nah, I'm going to MatPat. This doesn't even make sense anymore. He said he looked at her and then she died. Like, now I'm just confused.
This whole story was confusing. I was
Yeah,
just like,
nah,
keep up.
I knew I should have just went to them. Yo, bro, I'm going to MatPat. I don't care about what y'all talking about. This off the roof shit is confusing me. He's joking too much. I don't even know when he's being serious. And then, that didn't even make sense, what just happened. Like, I'm just trying to understand the timeline. This nigga's talking about he looked at her, he owed her $5, he went 1 mile over the speed limit. Like, what are we even talking about?
With AI Assistant, I can find contract details quickly.
Yes, that's why
having all of this together helps position myself as an expert, and it gives me that confidence to talk to clients.
Yeah, I'm going to this one.
UFC 312.
Yeah, they definitely did stretch into 4 videos.
PVV.
This one's just a 1
It was the
hour.
crying child. Afton coming back was actually a surprise, and Fazgoo wasn't a phrase I'd ever thought I'd have to utter. But since the last time I did something like this, we've had 3 more massive games, the death and revival of the FNAF movie, and more robot.
Did the
kids
FNAF
that
movie
you can
ever come
shake a
out? I never
staff
watched
on
it.
at. It is
But did it
exhausting
come out
trying
ever?
to keep track of this whole franchise, which honestly is why I'm here today. The lore at this point is complicated. It is full of speculation and theory, so to hopefully make it a little easier for everyone and to give us all a baseline to talk about this franchise moving forward into the future, it's time to reveal my current working FNAF timeline. But just before I do, I just want to explain a couple of things. First, this timeline is massive. Seriously, it is huge. This thing towers over any video project we have ever done on the channel. But when you look at the totality of this franchise, the story of FNAF really boils down to the story of one man, William Afton. His successes, his failures, his rise to becoming co-owner of one of the most successful restaurant franchises in the world,
Back
and his
then,
eventual
he was literally
fall to
just
the
a
monsters he helped to create, only to then be reborn in a new digital form later. So sit back, grab some popcorn, or your pitchforks if you're the type to get upset when I say something controversial, and make sure that you subscribe, since this is going to be a video that you're going to want to come back to a few times in order to fully dissect. Without any more waiting, I present to you the story of a loving, obsessive father who slowly descended into madness, and along the way discovered the secret to eternal life. Our story begins not in the 1980s, or even in the 1970s, but all the way back in the 1930s. It was the throes of the Great Depression, and people were in desperate need of cheap entertainment, especially in Utah, one of the states hit hardest, 4th highest unemployment in the nation, and full of transients. People looking for work in Salt Lake, finding none, and ultimately moving on to find their fortunes out in California. People were tired and they were hungry, but as they traveled, there was one thing that could lift their spirits: a simple roadside attraction called Fredbear's Singin' Show. The ads were plastered all over town, featuring an animated bear drawn in the popular pie-eyed cartoon style for characters at the time. He resembled cartoons like Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat, Betty Boop. It immediately said that this, Fredbear's, was a place where you could bring the family. And the price, honestly, couldn't be beat. For 50 cents, you could get food and entertainment as you watched the local trained real-life dancing bear perform on stage. Normally, you only got to see dancing bears at large traveling circuses like Barnum and Bailey, where the tickets would go for about $1. That's $1 without out food. But this was a smaller show, the type from the Von Brothers or the Robbins Brothers, where tickets would sell for just a mere 50 cents. Watching that bear do tricks on stage brought a glimmer of joy at a time when so much was wrong with the world. The simple show would go on for years, bringing happiness to hundreds of travelers passing through looking for a quick meal. But it left a permanent impression on one little boy, capturing his imagination in a way that nothing else has. One little boy named Billy. That was his nickname at least, but his parents liked to call him William Afton. The bear could dance, could sing. For decades, William dreamed of recreating that moment of bringing a musical bear to life, but how? William was smart, without a doubt, and he had a keen mind for business, but he wasn't the most creative. How do you make a singing, dancing bear come to life? The best he could do was using rudimentary costumes. We know, based on the retro poster that was hidden in Security Breach, that at least at one point, Fredbear was an actual bear. Dancing bear shows were a real form of entertainment. The only problem is that, timing-wise, none of our main characters would be the people in charge of that business in the 30s and a series of pizza restaurants in the 80s without him just being extremely old. Best case scenario, if Afton's running the singing show when he's 18, that still puts him at nearly 70 when the first pizzeria opens and his murder spree begins. That just doesn't make a lot of logical sense because he doesn't become immortal until his first death in Springtrap. That's why I suspect that Fredbear's singing show was either a family business that Afton then carried on to a new generation, or something that he saw as a kid and just wanted to recreate when he grew up. William was inspired by the work of Walt Disney, who throughout the 50s and 60s was pioneering the use of mascot suits throughout his theme park. The big innovation? Suits with 5 fingers. This allowed the performers wearing the suits to use their natural arms and hands to interact with the guests, as opposed to the older models where the arms would just hang limply by their sides. Finally, with a simple mascot suit, he would be able to realize his childhood dream. He would be able to bring Fredbear to life. To appeal to the kids, and for copyright reasons, he changed Fredbear from a realistic brown animal to a cartoonish yellow bear with a purple hat and bow tie. But feeling like one character wasn't enough, he added another friend, a yellow rabbit with a purple vest and matching tie named Bonnie the Bunny. While Fredbear was certainly his first love, Bonnie was extra special because that was his. It was an original character that he had created from scratch. And I do mean scratch. William's hand-sewn costumes were rough, with seams and stitches visibly showing. It's a handcrafted suit. You can see the seams and everything. It even has 5 fingers for the performer's hands. It is very much not a Springtrap suit. This is something much more rudimentary. It came at a time before animatronics were a part of the story. That's why I suspect that it was actually the first, predating literally everything. It's also a suit that is very personal to Afton. He put his digital consciousness in that form. It's his personal avatar. It's the way that he sees himself. There's also a whole separate discussion to be had here about the habits and rituals of serial killers. So the fact that he's choosing to lure kids and kill them in this particular suit actually says a lot about his emotional attachment to it. So while Fredbear seems to have started as someone else's creation, Golden Bonnie was uniquely William's, giving him a personal connection. And that's not all. In this whole franchise, only one set of characters have themselves 5 fingers, the Nightmares. Even Golden Freddy, Fredbear, was a 5-fingered wearable suit at one point in the story, as we see in this shot from the graphic novel, before he, like everyone else, was turned into an animatronic. This seems to imply that all of the main characters had similar wearable mascot outfits at least at one point in time, and that whoever is having the FNAF 4 nightmares, if they even are nightmares, saw those mascot suits specifically. Bonnie and Fredbear would perform on stage to small but enthusiastic crowds. Finally, he was able to deliver fantasy and fun to all the kids, delighting and inspiring them in the exact way that he had been delighted and inspired so many years ago. Afton, despite eventually falling to become the heartless serial killer and mad scientist that we know him as, began as someone with good intentions and a love of entertaining kids. He wanted to bring things to life from the very beginning, a theme that recurs a lot for him throughout the rest of the franchise. And things could have ended there. That could have been the end to his story. It could have been perfect had it not been for one thing. Other people saw the success of his idea and they wanted in. Enter Chica's Party World, a rival restaurant starring performing animal characters. His idea, except they did it better. William may have been the first, but obviously he wasn't the best. It hurt the prideful William Afton to admit it, but this restaurant was able to do the thing that he always wanted to do: make the animals actually come to life. All of the performers in this restaurant were robots, simple metal skeletons that were powered by battery packs, but all of them able to freely turn and talk and dance on their own, no human required. It was like magic that came from the mind of a brilliant creator named Henry Emily. This Henry, in some small way, enabled Hart.
In the other videos watching, they didn't even explain how they met. They just said 2 business partners. We didn't even know that he had his own restaurant. He had his restaurant, they combined or nothing. All right.
It's the power of life itself. Afton admired him. He was jealous, to be sure, but he also looked upon this man with awe. Off to one side of Chica's party world was a small cabaret stage featuring an elephant magician. On the other, a hippo known to ramble on and on. That one was more of a joke for the parents, but it was the main stage that was for the kids. A rocking band of characters featuring a yellow chicken thing with a southern drawl named Chica, backed by a band of other country-themed characters, including a pig with a banjo, an upbeat frog from the local swimming hole, and a brown bear with a heavy southern accent. Wait, a bear? But bears were his animals. Why not a cow or a horse? Something to fit the country theme a bit better. Why did it have to be a bear? And adding insult to injury, they had the nerve to call this thing Ned Bear, a direct copy of his own Fred Bear.
Whoops, that's gonna leave a mark.
I've suspected that the mediocre melodies played a much more important role in the story than just being a bunch more animatronics to fill out the roster. Especially Ned Bear, which is just so suspiciously close to Fred Bear. And yet, there are two key details that we're gonna have to justify with any mediocre melodies mentioned. One, they're very rudimentary with external battery packs, implying that they come very early in time. And two, we know that at minimum, Mr. Hippo does eventually become an official member of the extended Freddyverse. But if these things are supposed to be cheap, generic rip-offs, why would you be trying to rip off yourself? You would be stealing someone else's ideas. So if Afton created Fredbear, there would have to be some rival franchise. The only other person who would likely be ripping him off, Henry. We've talked extensively about how the mediocre melodies are clearly Henry's design aesthetic, so it just has to be him. I don't think Henry's doing this maliciously. He doesn't strike me as the type. He was likely building the robots at the orders of someone else that was running a rival restaurant franchise. But that's enough motivation to start Afton down a path of jealous rivalry, but also begrudging admiration. As the Freddy Files Ultimate Edition says, it's important to revisit the beginning of Henry and William's relationship, so here you go. I think this is where it begins. Also, this is future Matt Pat here coming back to add this one in. Seems like the recently released character encyclopedia has backed up all of this speculation. I've had this timeline written for about a month now, but I've also been holding off a bit to see what wrenches this character encyclopedia might throw into it. And on this particular...
Thank you for the sub. Who was that, Thomas? Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Point, I gotta say, it seems like we might actually have nailed it. They actively call out the suspicious similarities to the main Fredbear crew. Quote from one of the pages. Ned Bear looks like an imitation, altered just enough to avoid copyright issues. I don't know about you, but that seems to imply that we were right on the money. Knowing all of this, at one point the franchises had to have merged. That's really the only way that you get Mr. Hippo from the rival franchise as part of the Fazbear crew. This also mirrors a lot of what happened in the real-life history of Chuck E. Cheese, with two rival restaurants, each with their own casts of characters merging to become one unified brand. Again, we've gone into that in detail with other videos, just wanted to remind you all of that here. But why would I call out the rival restaurant as being named Chica's Party World? Few things, actually. First, we know for a fact that a location named Chica's Party World exists. It is mentioned in the source code teasing sister location, so it is out there somewhere and doesn't fit cleanly anywhere. Second, in the story of the Puppet Carver, Chica is very explicitly looped in with the book versions of Pig Patch and Ned Bear, implying that she started as a mediocre melody. Thirdly, her design just fits better with the theme of down-home country animals with southern accents playing the banjo and eating with bibs. And with her being the headliner of the show with her name on the restaurant, it would make sense then that when the restaurants merged, she was the one that was added to the main cast of characters while all the other mediocres faded away. It's also why when Freddy's closes after William's killing spree, she's the one to branch back off into her old franchise and is therefore missing in sister location. A detail that's bothered me for years at this point. It might also explain why William decided to stuff his first...
Oh my gosh, stop cutting off. This shit's about to piss me off. Why does he keep doing that? You never have issues. Now today you want to just be on some dumb shit. It is because you're here. This shit never what does this. Wait, so he said Chica ended up going back to her own shop.
Creation, not his. Instant jealous admiration turned to hardened bitterness. A bitterness that would only grow over the next couple of years as families continued to choose is therefore missing in sister location. A detail that's bothered me for years at this point. It might also explain why William decided to stuff his first dead kid into Chica. That one was Henry's creation, not his. Instant jealous admiration turned to hardened bitterness. A bitterness that would only grow over the next couple of years as families continued to choose Chica's Party World over Fredbear's. William just couldn't compete with the appeal of the robots. Eventually his restaurant would go bankrupt, only to get bailed out by, of course, Henry Emily. Another insult. another humiliation that William wouldn't soon forget. 1979. Despite being bitter, Afton couldn't deny that what came next was a period of massive success and expansion. With the two franchises now merged into one, it was the best of both worlds. Afton's ideas with Henry's robotic expertise. The two men decided to launch under a new name, Fredbear's Family Diner, a pizza chain that would eventually come to feature a mix of humans in performing suits as well as on-stage animatronics. They decided to stick with Fredbear as the headliner, considering the yellow bear was easily identifiable as a brand because he was the original performing animal mascot. Afton appreciated that. This new restaurant would also see a mix of characters as the two franchises merged into one, with Pig Patch and Happy Frog performing right alongside Fredbear and Bonnie. And as part of this one big Fredbear family, they even got themselves official merch that were released, ranging from masks to magnets.
What I do, suck your head?
Here you go. Oh, Code 45, do zigzags. Baby, that's all we need.
When you go to the bar, that's the dog. Smoke that coffee shit.
And the ballerina.
Welcome back to New Heights, ladies and gentlemen. A wondrous show produced by Wave Sports and Entertainment and brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Go!
Way back in the Buffalo.
We're not watching.
Trapping Mr. Hippo fridge magnet?
That said, not all the characters were winners. The reception to some characters was just mediocre, so they faded away into the dumpster, storage units, and retro budget tech stores of lost nostalgia, waiting for their chance to step back into the limelight if and when a headliner went out of commission. Others, though, would fare much better, like a new Pirate Fox, as well as a blue guitar-playing variant of the yellow Bonnie Bunny. Ultimately, the franchise would get so big, it would spawn its own cartoon show, Fredbear and Friends. Business was booming. In the end, Fredbear and Bonnie's popularity would be so strong that they would be able to support the Fredbear's Family Diner franchise all on their own, while also spinning off a new sister location dedicated to their friends. In 1983, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza launched, giving a dedicated home to all this new supporting cast of characters. Chica the Chicken, Bonnie the Blue Bunny, Foxy the Pirate, and of course the headliner, a brown Freddy Fazbear. Business was good, and Afton was happy, mostly. It did bother him that the one original character that he created, the one that he himself played, Golden Bonnie, got passed over for inclusion in that cartoon show. The only character in the roster of regulars to get ignored for the show, but other than that, things were going smoothly. He had himself a wife, 2 sons, a daughter, he had a thriving business, and best of all, he was able to learn the craft of robotics from the man that he both loved and hated, Henry. Together, they were constantly pushing the limits of what these characters could do. Because it was quick and easy, new characters introduced into the roster would be given a simple hand-sewn suit with 5 fingers that any performer could wear. Eventually, Henry would design one of his signature animatronics for that character, utilizing a divided mouth with either a hinged or sliding jaw design. This was the first generation of animatronics. Why stop there? Afton had big ideas. What if the animatronics weren't just locked to the stage, but could freely roam the restaurant and interact with the kids? What if his mascot suits could become animatronics? What if you could use more than just rigid metallic skeletons? Why not experiment with tubes and wires that would give the animatronics fluidity and flexibility while still providing structure? The possibilities for this technology were endless. Afton fell in love with robotics. He had started with a dream of bringing one simple singing bear to life, but with robots, he had stumbled across the tools that gave him the ability to control life itself. And thanks to Henry, he was practically speedrunning his way to an engineering degree. And while William wouldn't admit it out loud, one other thing that kept pushing him forward was the desire to beat his former rival, to prove himself smarter and more capable, to surpass the man who everyone else considered to be a visionary genius. But pride cometh before the fall, and tragedy was about to strike. 1983, business was booming with 2 whole restaurant franchises running, Fredbear's Family Diner and the newly opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Together, William and Henry had been able to take the hybrid suit idea and make it into a reality. They called their new invention the Springlock suit, and fittingly enough, it was symbolic of the partnership between these 2 men, a human suit as designed by William that could become a freestanding Henry-style robot. But because it was still new tech with kinks to work out, the rollout was limited, restricted only to the Fredbear's Family Diner location. All of this meant that William was busier than ever. He didn't have time to be a full-time parent, so he designed a nanny cam system where cameras and speakers were hidden throughout the neighborhood, as well as in his youngest son's favorite toy, Psychic Friend Fredbear. I mean, plushy Fredbear. But since cameras just weren't enough to raise a kid, he also left childcare duties to his eldest son, Michael. There was just one problem with that. Michael was far from the best babysitter. He tormented his younger brother by jump-scaring him with a foxy mask and constantly left him behind. William watched all of it from his cameras. Kids would be kids. Tomorrow was another day, after all. Except Michael's torment didn't stop. Bitter, angry thoughts would run through Michael's mind. Why did he have to be the one to take care of this whining crybaby all the time? It just wasn't fair. It was time that he got even with his brother by playing the ultimate prank. A prank that just so happened to be on this crying child's birthday. He and his friends would take his scared little brother and make him do the one thing that he was terrified of doing, getting close to the animatronics. That would be embarrassing for the kid that was such an embarrassment.
Like another video, and he was like, he had the thing bite his head, but it was like plastic teeth and all that, and it was a joke. I think that was just some bullshit. I think he actually did get his head bitten right here. This is the actual incident.
His brother squirmed, screamed, kicked, and fought, but just as they were putting that small, squirming boy up to Fredbear's lips, the mouth snapped shut. The sensitive spring locks inside the body had been triggered by the boy's movements. They'd immediately clamped down. The wriggling stopped. The boy went limp, but it was just a prank. It was meant to be funny. The boy was taken to the hospital and was immediately given an IV. Flowers and pills filled the nightstand next to his hospital bed, but the damage was too severe. He couldn't recover. As the younger brother's consciousness began to fade, he could hear Michael's last words, a small and flimsy apology. But his father, William, through the voice of the Fredbear plush, were a firm and committed promise to a dying son. You're broken. I will put you back together. This would not be the end. No matter what, William's son would live again. It would just take time. Time that, right now, he just didn't have. His young son's heart flatlined as the boy faded into the inky unknown of the afterlife. In the aftermath of the tragedy, changes started happening around the restaurants. Kids were now required to wear security wristbands to prevent anyone from getting outside without parental permission. Any kid who approached the exit without permission would have to answer to the security puppet, a marionette on strings that could fly around on rails across the restaurant to stop kids in their tracks. It was William's idea, inspired by Michael constantly leaving the restaurant without his brother. In the wake of Fredbear's spring lock failure, all the hybrid suits were getting retired, locked away at the nearby Freddy Fazbear location. It was yet another tough pill to swallow after all the hard work that he and Henry had put into that. William would eventually bury the boy's small body in a remote location out in the woods right alongside his drive into an
Springtrap suits were the ones that got the kid killed. He put him in Golden Freddy's mouth, which killed him. And Springtrap was basically the same way, because later on, it didn't happen yet, but Springtrap basically crushed the other dude's body. So I'm assuming they just knew the Springtrap suits were all like damaged, so that's why they closed the location. That's in FNAF 3. That's why they closed it, because they was like, they're just too dangerous, and they got the kid, his head killed, and like bitten off and killed and stuff. So that means that one closed. And that's when the first game was like the only open location.
Out of work every day. The death of this little boy sent the family spiraling. His wife, crippled with grief, was so distraught that all she could do was sit and watch TV. But his son Michael was far worse, complaining of seeing hallucinations of a golden bear standing outside of his window. The boy was so racked with guilt that he was convinced that he was being haunted by the ghost of his brother stuck inside the suit that took his life. The suit's three-toed feet digging into the wet earth. The words, "It's me," ringing through Michael's ears. Some nights, Michael would even go so far as to break out of his room to check.
Really is the purple guy in the security room. I don't know if you remember we were playing in the first game, like by night 4 or night 5, you just see a bunch of like shadowy figures and it just kept saying, "It's me, it's me, it's me." That's because he's getting haunted still, even as an adult. He's getting haunted by his little brother still, saying, "It's me." I get it now.
Check the gravesite and ensure that his brother was still there. As for William himself, he disappeared into his work and his drinks. Junior's, the local bar, wasn't far from his son's gravesite. He found himself going there more and more frequently, spending longer and longer amounts of time there. The bar gave him a place to think, to remember, to reflect,
the guy they were playing
to stew on how Henry had stolen his idea for an animal-themed restaurant, how they cut his character out of the cartoon when everyone else was there, how Henry had humiliated him by buying him out of bankruptcy, bankruptcy, and now there was his son. Henry had taken his son from him. The robotic part was the part that failed after all. William ordered one more drink, but it was one too many. The bar turned him out and told him to go home. But William didn't go home. Drunk and angry, William raced back to the restaurant to give Henry a piece of his mind, only to find someone else waiting. Henry's daughter, Charlie, locked outside of the building, bullies laughing at her through the window. Fine, some other problem to fix. But then Afton got an idea. A beautifully awful idea. This was his chance to get back at the man that had humiliated him all those years ago. Henry had killed his business, and now Henry's robotic suit had killed his son. It was time for William to do some killing of his own. Let Henry feel what it's like to have something you love get ripped away. While parties continued inside the walls of the pizzeria, William attacked Charlie in the back alley. It felt good. He felt free. The years of resentment and bitterness trapped in his heart finally released in a moment of pure unapologetic evil. He would make Henry hurt like he—
You know what's crazy? Every time they would always say the kids got killed, they were stuck in the suit. I didn't know who these kids were. I always thought they were just random kids. But now we know that the kids were all related to like the owners and this and that, and the owners and the purple. Like, cause I didn't know who the purple guy was, but it's like he was the guy.
He hurts.
It's like everything is connected basically. Like, it all ties into time.
All right, let's do this.
You see how it's just designed so it just every time they showed him like in the two short like cartoons and everything, he was just purple.
And in that
like you
moment,
seen it
William
just now,
became a
like
killer.
when he. This is a scene. Not this one.
This was his chance
This
to
is
get
a
back at
scene
the man that had
from,
humiliated him all those years
one
ago.
of the
Henry
games.
had killed his business,
this
and now Henry's robotic suit had killed his son. It was time for William to do some killing of his own. Let Henry feel what it's like to have something you love get ripped away. While parties continued inside the
You
walls
see
of
how
the
he's like in
pizzeria,
a
William
purple car and
attacked.
then he's just purple. So every time we would see this in the second game, mini games, he was just a purple man who was just killing the kids, and we was like, okay, that's the purple guy. That's just what his name became. But I guess the game.
Charlie in the back alley. It felt good. He felt free. The years of resentment and bitterness trapped in his heart finally released in a moment of pure unapologetic evil. He would make Henry hurt like he hurts. And in that moment, William became a killer. He dropped Charlie's lifeless body and drove home, forced to confront his family problems later that night, appalled, but also a little excited by what he had just done. Charlie's death would remain on the books as a random act of violence. And though Henry had suspicions about William, there was no physical evidence, nothing that could link him back to the crime. In the weeks that followed, Fredbear's Family Diner would close for good. 2 high-profile deaths around the restaurant with 2 grieving owners in such a short period of time was just too much bad press to handle. Besides, Freddy Fazbear's was still open, and it was the newer restaurant anyway. All the equipment from the diner, including the old yellow suits and security puppet, would get retired to that location. And there they would sit for 2 uneventful years. The rest of 1983 and 1984 were spent quietly grieving. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and the new cast of characters were a hit. Tragic memories of their yellow predecessors quickly faded. Afton kept a low profile and buried himself in work and research, quickly reaching Henry's level of engineering and even surpassing it. And while Henry slowed down to grieve, Afton kept going, even starting his own company, Afton Robotics, for all those pet projects that were a little bit too experimental for the regular operations of the pizzeria. The first of these experimental projects was a secret workshop under his house, a veritable bunker, which allowed him to work while still monitoring his kids via hidden security
Is
cameras.
this the security breach one? We were under his house. Security breach just takes place under Afton's crib.
1983. A passcode that served as a constant reminder of why the cameras were so important, why he was down there in the first place. This was all to fulfill the promise that he had made to his son, right? I will put you back together. This was for him. All for him, right? But cameras weren't enough. He needed to solve the runaway Michael problem. He had to keep him in the house. He couldn't have another one of his kids wind up dead inside of an animatronic suit. So why not run a little experiment on Michael? You see, all this work with Henry had gotten Afton to start learning more about life, robots, the human mind, and what a fallible machine we as humans were. Our reality is so easy to manipulate with a few sensory deceptions. Deceptions like sound. With just a few sounds, he had discovered that he could alter a person's vision. He could transform blank, smooth plastic robots into lumbering, twisted nightmares. Nightmares far scarier than he could create with actual materials. They would appear organic, rotting, putrid, terrifying. These would be his means of keeping his son Michael in the house where he belonged. Was it extreme?
So that means the fourth one wasn't of the little brother, it was of the older brother. So the security guard. Basically, you played the security guard in all 4 of the games. Oh, alright.
Maybe. But then again, this was the boy who had killed his son. He would make him sorry. So Michael would grow up not only dealing with the memories of his own guilt, the hospital room, the pills, the flowers, the death of his brother, but also...
I remember that you could see pills and stuff like that in his room, like he was taking meds. So I always thought that it was the little brother, but either he's hallucinating or he's just taking the pills because he's like actually tweaking on the fact that he killed his little brother. So he might be taking those pills to like just for medication or something. But that means that they weren't. I always thought the nightmare animatronics were like illusions, but I guess he really built them to like trap him and shit, like keep him in the house like that.
Facing literal nightmares, illusions created by sound. Michael would never forget these either. Years later, as a security guard, he would still draw pictures of them inside of his logbook. But all of these extra projects meant that his home life suffered even more. He was an absent father and a non-existent husband, leaving his wife cold and alone.
Why do you hide inside your walls when there is music in my halls? All I see is an empty room, no more joy, an empty tomb.
And despite her repeated demands that he leave his office and engage with the family, he refused time and time again, leaving her no choice but to leave.
You burned down my house?
You call that a house? It was like a morgue in there. You need to see your son!
The baby isn't mine.
Well, how's this? I'm keeping the diamond ring.
And through it all, there was one lingering feeling. William wasn't done. He had gotten a taste of what it felt like to be unleashed, what it felt like to be free. Charlie's murder had unlocked something in him, and he wanted more. June 26th, 1985, putting on the golden Bonnie suit, he lured children one by one to the back room of the pizzeria when no one was looking. At first, he was cautious. He would lure them with promises of cake and cookies. He told them that their dog had died. He would ask for help with homework. Susie was the first. You never truly forget your first.
You would literally just murder little kids.
But where to hide the bodies? You couldn't sneak out.
Wait, what location is this? Because the Springtrap location, they said shut down. So how did he even do this? I thought he said it got shut down already, and they didn't have Chica in. I mean,
he wanted more. June 26th, 1985, putting on the golden Bonnie suit, he lured children one by one to the back room of the pizzeria when no one was looking. At first, he was cautious. He would lure them with promises of cake and cookies.
I think I know how this makes sense. This is at the location of the first game. This is the first game location, where it's Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. He said that he was in the suit. So that means Springtrap wasn't one of the performers. They didn't know he was even there. So while the other ones were performing and everything, William was running around in the Springtrap suit. And since the kids are little kids, they're not knowing that he's not supposed to be there. They're just like, oh, it's another one. But in reality, he was just a creep in the back room wearing a golden suit, like, yo, come here so I can kill you. And then after he did that, that's how they got in the suits. Like the first one, like Chica and all of them. Because remember, all four of the suits have kids in them. So he basically put on the Springtrap suit, killed the little kids, threw them in Chica, Freddy, Bonnie, and Foxy. And then that's how all the four, like, those suits got possessed. Okay, so yeah, that's how they got possessed. So none of the golden ones are possessed. They're just him in the suit right now. That makes sense. And Golden Freddy's just chilling right now. He's not even there.
Cookies. He told them that their dog had died. He would ask for help with homework. Susie was the first. You never truly forget your first.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
But where to hide the bodies? He couldn't sneak out. Someone would see him. He had to hide them in a place where they'd never be found and where they'd never leave the building. They had to be stuffed inside of the suits. No one maintained those things anyway except for him. And so Susie would go into Chica. Fritz, Jeremy, and Gabriel would come next, but it was easy. It was too easy. And with each little life he snuffed out, his lies got bigger. Their house was burning. They're just being kidnapped. Until the last one where all pretense was off. He let himself get violent. Too violent.
I'll just wait for him after school, throw a bag over his head, hit him with a shovel, and drag him into the back of my car.
The body of Cassidy was far more bloody and broken than any of the others. He'd let himself go too far. That one he shouldn't have killed. With no more active animatronics left, he shoved the body into the one suit that remained backstage. The long-forgotten yellow Fredbear, now broken and discolored with age. Broken, like Cassidy was broken, like his son was broken. Newspapers reported on this disappearance, naming the whole thing the missing children's incident. incident. Police would even charge William with the crimes after finding security footage of the golden mascot suit luring kids to the back, but they couldn't convict him. They had no bodies, and his face had been hidden behind the mascot suit the entire time. What they had was circumstantial at best, and so he walked away
Nah. If you run the location and 5 kids get taken to the back room by a golden suit that you know people can hide in, even if you can't say William did it, you know that he's associated with whoever did it. So that doesn't even work. That's a new Jurassic Park coming out.
Dr. Henry Loomis, this is Zora Bennett.
free man. But Henry knew the truth. In these murders, he saw his daughter Charlie all over again. So he threw Afton out of the company and shuttered the doors to the old pizzeria. Henry would keep the franchise quiet for 2 years. This would not happen again. This could not happen again. How could he protect the kids? Finally, he developed a solution. He would implement an even more extreme security system in the form of new animatronics. Toy animatronics, inspired by the toys that they had been selling years ago. But these guys, these were special. They were a new breed of robot with facial recognition abilities.
But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database, so they can detect a predator a mile away.
All the
Remember how he said that just now when we was playing? He was like, they can go after the predators. And you know when you put the mask on, it's because you put the mask on, so that's how you fool them. Because you're like, they can't tell because they're doing facial recognition. But why is the new Foxy
now
broken?
withered with age were...
Actually, I think it's because you know how he didn't like the old Foxy, he broke him? He probably did the same thing to the new one, just out of spite. He was like, fuck Foxy. So he was like, I'm gonna break
Henry?
Nah, remember William? Remember when William opened up the location, he was like, I don't like Foxy. Like the other one. And you know how the new Foxy, that white Foxy, was all broken up and everything? You might not have noticed it, but in the second game, the new Foxy is like destroyed.
Yeah, I was too busy closing my eyes.
Yeah, you were. But if you actually look at it, his head is there, but his body is all mangled. Like he's literally like a white Foxy mask and then like just a black broken up skeleton. Like, he doesn't even have a body for real. It's all just broken and shit. So it's probably broken because of him. What would he say? Now it's clicking in. Insert everything is connected. Yeah. Here we getting some zoops. Alright, I'm back. What's a zoop? What's a zoop?
Moved to the new location. With a plan in place, it was time to try once more. The year was 1987, and the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was making headlines in local newspapers. Headlines that just so happened to catch the attention of William Afton. Freddy's was back, and without him, that was his idea, his character. Henry was, yet again, trying to cut him out of the picture. No, as long as these restaurants stayed open, William would always come back. Then he noticed the phone number to apply at the bottom of the article. $100 a week to apply call. Afton would go back, not as an owner or co-founder. He would go back in the one place that they would least suspect him, a lowly day shift security guard. And there it was, buried in the back of parts and services mixed in with the old withered animatronics was the gold.
Is William the phone guy in every game? He might be. And if it's not William, it might be Henry. Like in the first game, it might be Henry. The second game, it's definitely William.
Rabbits. With the yellow security badge still on his chest, he used his crank to pull open the spring locks. It was time for Bonnie to give an encore performance.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. From what I understand, the building's on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees. When we get it all sorted out, we may move you to the day shift. Our position just became available.
1987, 5 more kids. He didn't know what felt better, getting back into the suit after 2 long years of waiting, or knowing how devastating this would be to Henry the next morning. He didn't even try to hide his crime this time, just meant more blood on Henry's hands. He'd failed to protect the kids again. The restaurant had only been open for a few weeks, but William was sure that this would get it to close. Good, if he couldn't have Freddy's, no one would. Whenever a new pizzeria opened, he would be there. But as he sat in his bunkers, something else started to linger in William's mind. He had seen something strange. The old withered animatronics, they had been wandering around the building, spurred on by the puppet. It was almost like those old robots were trying to save the kids. Save them? They couldn't, obviously, but still, how were they moving? It was almost like they had been given life somehow. Did he have something to do with that? The following day, the news would report a security guard getting bitten by one of the animatronics during the day shift. Was that bite meant for For him, William's curiosity was stronger now than his bloodlust. He had to learn more, but how? There was no way he'd ever be able to get inside another Freddy's Pizzeria. Heck, there was practically no way a Freddy's would ever open again. He needed to create something new, something brand new. He needed to create his own pizzeria.
Due to the massive success, and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment.
Circus Baby's Pizza World. This would be the place where he could continue his work. No longer just murdering, experimenting. He needed more kids, and he needed them alive. And knowing that he couldn't show his face on the restaurant floor, he needed a way of remotely capturing his victims and preserving them for his work. With that goal in mind, he designed a new breed of animatronic. Their endoskeletons fluid and flexible. He equipped them with sound lures that could mimic voice.
Yeah, what game is this? Oops, I meant soup. Soap. The tortilla with meat cheese. Oh, alright, that's hard. Man, what game is this? I'm confused.
They could isolate children. They could incapacitate and contain them with zero direct input from him. It was brilliant. He was brilliant. Far beyond the simple bars and wires of Henry's designs. And the characters he chose for this were uniquely his. His new roster wasn't going to be tainted by Henry's disgusting barnyard bird. Instead, it was back to his characters, his creations. Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, as well as two special ones. The first, Ballora, was an homage to the woman who left him. Now she would never leave him again. The second, the titular baby, was designed with his baby in mind. Elizabeth, his youngest child. She would always be Daddy's little girl, the one that listened to him, the one that obeyed, until the day that she didn't.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? She's so pretty and shiny. Didn't you make her just for me?
The day before Circus Baby's Pizza World opened, she disobeyed. She didn't listen. Left alone with Baby, she got too close. The animatronic ripped in half and swallowed her whole. A scared and confused child fading into eternal darkness. By the time Afton found her, it was too late. She was gone. He immediately canceled the launch of Circus Babies under the guise of a gas leak. But wait, as he sat there at the foot of the stage, he noticed that something was different. The eye color of the robot had changed. Baby had been built with blue eyes, but now they were emerald green, the same color as Elizabeth's. Was she in there? Could this all be connected to the free-moving animatronics that he had seen at Freddy's? He had to know more. His mourning turned to excitement. He had to return to where it all started. 1993. Pathetic. This place was pathetic. Henry had clearly tried to reopen one final time with those old original animatronics from so long ago, but William's damage to the brand had been permanent. These things stank of death. They hadn't been washed in decades. But even if they had, nothing could wash away the stink of murder that haunted these halls. One night, then another, then another. William repeatedly snuck into the old broken restaurant to lure the living animatronics to him, one by one dismantling them, robbing them of their endoskeletons. The metal had to be the secret. It had to contain the remnants of life itself. But you had to know for sure. Leaping out of a room that was invisible to the animatronics programming, he dragged the oversized robotic skeletons back to his underground workshop, back to where Circus Baby watched on with glowing, curious eyes. Eyes that somehow felt alive. Not knowing what else to do, William melted the robotic parts down. 5 animatronic endoskeletons reduced down to one silvery puddle of goo. Could he transfer this living metal to his own creations? He had to try. He picked up a syringe and filled it with the molten metal and injected the goo into Funtime Freddy's twisted, wiry endoskeleton. And suddenly the coils came to life. Like snakes writhing in a pile, what had once been cold, lifeless metal moved and jolted on its own. He'd done it! He had unlocked the secret to life itself. Except something was clearly wrong. The movements were erratic. They were violent, angry. Baby didn't act this way. She had been calm, collected. This was clearly something else, something mindless and frantic. Perhaps by mixing the souls and then portioning them out, he had created incomplete beasts. He would need to keep testing to truly understand it. He needed more of this remnant. As he searched the old pizzeria one more time for any remaining scraps of metal, the ghosts attacked. His past victims come to collect their due, all led by Cassidy. The 5 lined up and blocked the door, and Afton's mind reeled. The scientific implications of this were incredible. Ghosts, real ghosts that he could see, all standing against him. But what could they do? What couldn't they do? He panicked as Cassidy approached. How do you stop something that's already dead? Maybe with the thing that resulted in their death in the first place. He would get into his suit like old times. He would regain his power over them just like the day that they died. He was the genius. He was the one in the suit. He was the one in charge. The spring lock snapped into place. Maybe it was his frantic movements. Maybe it was the leaky abandoned restaurant. Maybe it was just fate coming to collect its due. He didn't know. The only thing he did know was that his brain was suddenly filled with searing white-hot pain as hundreds of metallic pins and gears stabbed into his body from all sides. All he could do was collapse, blood slowly oozing out of the suit and pooling onto the floor around him. It couldn't end like this. It wouldn't end like this. His work was unfinished. Unable to move, his only option was to survive, to live, to keep living. It took days lying in his own blood, but eventually someone found him, a security guard making a normal report. When he saw the animatronics torn apart in the middle of the party room floor, it caused him to file an immediate report of a break-in. An owner would have to come in and claim the damage, and who else would it be other than Henry? Hope jumped in Afton's heart. Henry would see him. They were partners, after all. He would be the one to help save him, to get him out of this suit, to relieve him from this tremendous pain. Henry entered the secret room. His eyes fell on Afton sitting there in the pool of red, and Henry, saying nothing, turned and walked away.
This is just to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one. Nothing is being taken out beforehand, so if you left anything inside, then it's your own fault. Management also requests that this room not be mentioned to family, friends, or insurance representatives.
And so there Afton would sit, hanging on for...
Why?
What do you mean why? Because he killed his child and...
He knew what, all of them.
He knew all those were... He knew Henry's the... I mean, what's his name? William's the reason behind all the kids dying and his child dying and everything. And then just to further confirm it, if you know that you're speculating that this dude's the one who killed everybody, and then you haven't seen him in like 2 years after you got split up, and then you just randomly see him in the restaurant that's already closed down, sitting in his old favorite golden suit covered in blood with a whole bunch of broken animatronics right in front of him. Obviously, he knows that he's in there trying to do some fuck shit. So he was like, well, fuck you. So that's what Springtrap looks like in the third game. You see how he's all tore up looking? And that means the purple guy is in there. So the whole time that we're playing the third game, that's the original purple guy attacking us. It's not a spirit. It's not a robot. It's literally the purple guy in the suit. But he's probably dead already. I think the suit activated with him inside of it because it's like it's tore up and it's old and stuff. But it does look bloody a little bit. So I think he's just sitting. Actually, yeah, you see that? It's an eye in there. I never got a close-up. That's an eye in there. I think. But yeah, basically, the purple guy's in there, but he's dead, and the suit is just walking around chasing us. So that's Golden Bonnie. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 all make sense, and so does the sister location.
30 years, trapped behind the walls with an iron will that refused to die. Most of this is things that we already knew, stuff that's been established and reestablished time and time again by the games. That said, there are two things that I absolutely have to address. The first and biggest is the placement of sister location, or more specifically, Elizabeth's death. To me, evidence in game seems to suggest that it was meant to come before the crying child's death in 1983. The biggest clue to this is that the crying child saw something. Remember what you saw is the phrase that's repeated over and over again by psychic friend Fredbear, aka William Afton speaking through a walkie-talkie in the Fredbear plushie's stomach. But what did he see? Well, I think we can tell based on how the nightmare animatronics are visualized. They have mouths in their stomachs, just like Baby ripping in half at the waist to swallow a kid. There's also the empty girl's room, one presumably left behind by a dead sister. And lastly, it explains why he's scared, and more specifically why Afton wants him scared. He needs his kids to stay away from the animatronics. He doesn't want them getting too close because the last time one of his kids got too close to a robot, his daughter died. That's then why he sets up the nightmares, to scare both Mike and the crying child away from the animatronics.
They said that all that shit got shut down and started all that crazy shit because he was the first one who got killed. So how does she dead now? That doesn't even make sense.
From that point forward. That's why books like the Character Encyclopedia outright suggest that we play as the crying child in FNAF 4. That's why he has a nanny cam following the crying child everywhere, so he can keep tabs on his kids when they're out of his sight. He can't let another Elizabeth situation happen. The death of Elizabeth also gives William Afton extra motivation for killing. He's a grieving father. His daughter was taken away from him, so Charlie should die as well. He's lashing out at the world after losing his kids. And again, we know that at least one of his children had to have died prior to Charlie's death, based on the mound of dirt that we see in Midnight Motorist. It also allows circus babies to open and close earlier in the timeline, which is how you wind up with Funtime Foxy appearing as Mangle in the FNAF 2 location. Basically, Elizabeth dying first has everything it needs. die as well. He's lashing out at the world after losing his kids. And again, we know that at least one of his children had to have died prior to Charlie's death, based on the mound of dirt that we see in Midnight Motorist. It also allows circus babies to open and close earlier in the timeline, which is how you wind up with Funtime 5.
So, I've never seen this one, but they showed her in one of the newer games. So she comes in either 5, 6, or 7. That's the new Foxy. This is the Foxy from the second game. The one that's all broken and shit. You see how she doesn't have her suit? She just has the head, and there's a second head. I don't know what that's about. But I guess she was a part of that sister location. So the sister location, remember they said it was about to open and got shut down before it even went live or anything? So the sister location must have been created, all that happened after the first game. So it was the first game, then the sister location. But since the sister location never got to take off because it shut down before the day one. Exactly. So it never happened. So then right after that happened, they went straight to the second game. What's up, bruh? Welcome to the channel. Yep, his corpse is in there. Like I say, when the lore breaks between main timeline games, side games, books, and movies, it's muddy. Yeah, I know the full lore. Shit, I'm trying to figure it out right now. Please let me tell you. I mean, you can. We just watching it right now, though. So what's the side games? What's the main timeline and what's the side games? Because I know 1, 2, 3, and 4 are definitely main timeline. 5 is probably main timeline. But what about 6 and 7 and whatever else? Security breach.
Angle in the FNAF 2 location. Basically, Elizabeth dying first has everything it needs to fit, except for the most important thing, the murder weapon. Why would Afton be building an animatronic with a giant claw in its stomach so early in the timeline? At this point, he just has no motive. It just doesn't make sense prior to 1983. At this point in the story, he hasn't killed anyone, and we know for a fact that the missing children's incident is 1985. So Elizabeth's death coming before any of those events just doesn't work. Hence why I placed it where I did in the narrative timeline. Afton's death here is also a bit tricky. We know that he returned to the FNAF 1 location to break down the original animatronics in order to harvest their remnant. We know that he melts down 5 things to become one thing. Candy Cadet makes that very clear. So the 5 things are the 5 endoskeletons from the various animatronics. That would be totally fine if it weren't for one huge problem. On his 5th visit to the pizzeria, Afton gets spring locked. So either the 5 becoming 1 starts in 1993, but then finishes 30 years later when he reemerges from the wall to add the last endoskeleton to his pile, or he's had himself some reason to return to the original location after harvesting all the stuff that he can. It's not ideal, but it's the one angle that makes the most sense. William still wasn't back.
Check out the newest strength equipment at Planet Fitness. Join the club today. Save $28 or more when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month.
Don't miss out on this limited time offer. $1 down, $15 a month. Deal ends February 13th.
Weird. Michael knew his father sometimes traveled for work, disappearing for days on end, but usually there was some sort of notice.
What's it called? The filter. Alright, I'm gonna keep watching, y'all. I'm curious. I'm curious.
A phone call, a post-it.
You don't want to get water? I mean, you can get that too. So 4215. It's 421536 is the game timeline. How is 2 before 1? The animatronics are broken in 2. So how the hell is 2 before 1? 2 is
not like Michael and his father were close, far from it. But as a household of 2 suffering men coping with years of tragedy and loss, there was at least some element of communication between the 2 of them. They were united by a name and a shared pain. This time, though, things felt different. William had left nothing. His absence was longer. There were no check-ins, no updates, just silence. Something had happened. If there was one thing Michael knew about his father, it was that he had contingencies, safety checks, backup plans. His father was a careful and guarded man. He held his cards close to his chest, and as such, William had prepared him in the event that something like this ever happened. Normally, his father kept his home office locked, but in the event of an unexpected, prolonged absence, Michael had been instructed to enter his father's office and look behind an empty set of shelves mounted in the corner of the room. Rolling his eyes, Michael entered the office. Never fully understood how William was able to spend so many hours of his days locked up in here. There was just nothing to do. Most of this place was empty. He dragged himself over to the shelf in the corner, expecting to find an emergency contact list, a family safety deposit box. But what he actually found there was completely unexpected.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be.
The shelf swung open and revealed a giant industrial elevator, one that led straight down into an underground bunker. But that was impossible. Hidden inside his childhood home was a secret entrance to an enormous underground science lair? It didn't make any sense. Seriously, it didn't make any sense. And yet here it was, mapped directly underneath the floor plan of the house that he'd grown up in, lost his brother in, been tortured in. Michael thought that he'd known his father, a prideful, sad, angry man with petty everyday problems, but clearly he'd been living with a stranger this entire time. His father had secrets. Suddenly the days of William being locked inside of his office made sense. He'd been here the entire time. Where was here, though? Was this Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals? The Circus Baby restaurant always did seem to be a deeply personal project for father, a failure of his that cut unusually deep, especially after that first location had to be closed prematurely due to the gas leaks. After that day, father really did seem to change, to lose himself even more in his work. Clearly the entrance he had found was some sort of secret back way into the facility, one that required crawling through vents to navigate. His father had been working here, but in secret. Why? And that's when he found her. At the end of the facility, Circus Baby, his father's pride and joy. Except something was different about her. She wasn't like the others. The way she talked, the stories she told. This wasn't just a robot. She was alive somehow. And not only was she alive, she also felt familiar.
There is something bad inside of me. I'm broken. I can't be fixed. Will you help me?
Was this his sister? William's baby girl? But how? Why? What was this place? He dug around some old files and found blueprints outlining the features of these animatronics. Storage containers, voice mimicking, parental tracking. And was that a child in Freddy's stomach? Was his father collecting and experimenting on kids? Were all the rumors that he'd heard throughout his past actually true? That the animatronics came to life at night? That there were murders done in all the pizzerias? That his father had somehow been the prime suspect in all of it? Suddenly, Michael's mind flashed back to his persistent nightmares throughout his childhood. Had he been experimented on too? Tears stung in his eyes as anger, fear, and confusion filled his body. His father's secrets were pouring out. William wasn't just a lame, overworked father. He was a monster, toying with life itself. Suddenly, everything clicked. He frantically looked around the room, blinking human heads on poles staring back at him. Green eyes, his sister. Blue eyes, his brother. Closed eyes, his mom. All just staring expectantly. These were meant to be human. William was working down here trying to make believable humans, literally rebuilding the family that they had both lost. The small little girl robots with their British accents roaming the hallways of this underground facility suddenly took on a whole new context.
What the hell is that thing? Oh, is that where Balloon Boy came from?
Were those meant to be his sister? A replacement for her? A clone? Was William building clones of his sister? They seemed to know him, after all, to react to his presence.
They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you.
He always did have a bit of a resemblance to his father. Michael's mind reeled as the reality of his world crumbled to dust. No, he had to get them out of there. If this really was his sister, heck, if any of these things were humans, souls, whatever remnant of the humans that they once were, they needed to be rescued.
They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here.
Led by the voice of Circus Baby, he marched through the now empty halls of the Funtime Auditorium. He would lead them. He would protect them. And finally, he would be able to forgive himself for the killing of his brother so many years.
What happened?
You are in the scooping room now. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
Scooper? That violent extraction arm? Michael had seen that one in the pile of blueprints. Something about heat rendering the magical silver metal inside useless. In reality, prior to getting himself spring-locked and put behind the wall, William's methods had become increasingly sophisticated. With a mechanized
says the OG ones were destroyed by Aflin in the Follow Me mini game. Yes. Bitty Baby. And yes, that's the early Balloon Boy. So Bitty Baby was the original Balloon Boy, and that's supposed to be his little brother. Okay.
The arm that could infuse new bodies with a soul. William could finally give and take away life. The only thing he needed were the bodies. But William wasn't the only one looking for bodies, as Michael was about to learn.
But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go.
Michael was going to be the hero to help these animatronics, all right. He was going to help the haunted tubes and wires of these animatronics escape, just not the way that he anticipated. His sister had lied to him, another game of pretend. The scooper plowed forward, digging its extraction arm into his body. As he heard his bones ripping through his flesh, Michael blacked out.
Something is wrong with me.
Why are they talking though? Like, how are they
I should
talk
be
like
dead, but I'm not.
Then he's turning purple now.
For the next several months, Michael's life was not his own. He was forced to comply with the tangle of wires and spirits that lived inside of him. His body felt like an overfilled balloon begging to burst as day by day, week by week, his flesh began to sag and
So basically, the animatronics, not the original kids, but his family animatronics that were down there, like his sister and them, they basically went inside of him and possessed his human body. And that's how he started turning purple. Like his
color. He was a walking, talking, rotting corpse. Alive, but wishing he wasn't. He was a puppet, a walking shell. And while he did his best to conceal his fate, there was only so much a man filled with robot spaghetti could do. The entity in his innards would eventually leave, but by that point the damage had been done. His decaying flesh stank, turning him into a literal purple guy. But still, even with no bones, even with rotting purple flesh and begging to die, Michael continued to live. That silvery metal remnant injected by the scooper meant that he couldn't die. His anger also refused to die. What he had seen down there in his sister's location had rocked him to his core. His father had killed and captured dozens.
Every time that we saw him, I mean, every time we played as a security guard, we literally had purple skin the entire time we were playing. Deadass. Enrid is in him? Who is Enrid? Voice lines from SB. Yes.
His experiments had killed his sister and then tortured him throughout all his childhood. He was actively trying to build human replicants. He didn't know where his father was, but Michael knew that he was out there somewhere.
Somehow he survived even as contract.
There's only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you.
Michael had to correct for the sins of his father. He had to make things right. Michael would burn Fazbear Entertainment to the ground. I mean, what else could you do when your skin was permanently purple? Michael's strategy was simple. He would apply for night security guard positions at the old defunct pizzeria locations. That way, no one ever had to see him or smell him during his shift. And all these old, shuttered locations did need guards. Teenage vandals and squatters were always looking to get inside these abandoned buildings, and yet no one ever really wanted to work an overnight graveyard shift unless they were practically out of options. Enter Mike. One by one, he would take on the job of security guard, changing his name each time to ensure that no one was able to follow his paper trail. Once inside, he could tamper with the animatronics and figure out how they worked, writing about his experiences in his security logbook. While there, he would listen to the old tapes where upper management awkwardly welcomed new recruits to their summer jobs, even though he was working there nowhere near the summer months. He heard the gory details of his father's franchise from the outsiders looking in, confused and afraid about what was happening in the walls around them. Sometimes he would see his brother in the form of the Golden Freddy suit. It's me appearing on the walls around him. Except now, there was something else there. He was no longer alone.
So now we know who the phone guy is. It's just random guys they were just looking at. It's not actually, okay, they're not killers or anything.
Angrier presence was also in the suit, as if two spirits were forced to share the same body. And Golden Freddy would attack him now. It was aggressive. Its vengeance wanted to lash out at anyone with the Afton name, anyone who wore a security guard outfit. Over time, Mike worked his way through the old restaurants, the original pizzeria, the bigger, better Freddy Fazbear's. He spent weeks there looking for clues as to his father's whereabouts. And each time at the end of his week's shift, he would then set the location on fire. Remnant can't survive high temperatures after all. So burning away whatever spirit-laden animatronics that still existed.
Location, work his 1 week shift, then burn the location down, looking for his father. Got you.
Inside seemed like a winning strategy. All this revisiting of his past, though, was causing the nightmares to begin again. Hallucinations that brought him back to his childhood. The guilt around killing his brother. His dreams were oddly mixed with the shrill phone calls of the security guards. But it would all be worth it in the end. The goal was to eventually stumble across the one location, the one job that would finally reunite him with his father. Little did Mike know that that day would come sooner than he expected. 2023, an advertisement came across Mike's TV. Fazbear Frights, a new horror attraction inspired by the awful crimes that occurred around Freddy Fazbear's Pizza so many years ago. It made Mike sick. People looking to make a quick buck off the tragedy of others, off his own family. This wasn't a joke or entertainment. Regardless, he had to be a part of it. If this team was combing through his family's history, they might stumble across something that could be useful. And if his father was truly still alive as he suspected, there would be no way that he wouldn't show up here. Maybe finally this could be the final chapter in his his family's marathon of tragedy. Mike applied for the job and was
he
immediately
bit his
handed
brother
the
and was
keys.
stuck in
Years of
caskets,
doing this had
so
taught him that
that's why
security
Gordon
guards
Freddy has
rarely
2
receive
people.
thorough
Gotcha.
security checks. They also liked how creepy Mike looked. They thought it was a costume, on theme for the job. What little they knew.
Hey, glad you came back for another night. I promise it'll be a lot more interesting this week.
Creepy Mike looked. Creepy Mike. Emily. This wasn't a joke or entertainment. Regardless, he had to be a part of it. If this team was combing through his family's history, they might stumble across something that could be useful. And if his father was truly still alive as he suspected, there would be no way that he wouldn't show up here. Maybe finally this could be the final chapter in his family's marathon of tragedy. Mike applied for the job and was immediately handed the keys. Years of doing this had taught him that security guards rarely receive thorough security checks. They also liked how creepy Mike looked. They thought it was a costume, on theme for the job. What little they knew.
Hey, glad you came back for another night. I promise it'll be a lot more interesting this time.
For weeks, there was nothing. But just as Mike considered giving up, he received the call that he'd been waiting for years.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one.
Could this finally be him? Sure enough, there he was. William inside his iconic golden Bonnie Springlock suit, only now it was green and decaying with age. And there they were, a small family of broken men finally reunited. It's been a long time, Dad. Mike had always struggled with the phantoms of his past haunting him, but now all the
The fact that he's still killing people inside of the Springtrap suit 30 plus years later is crazy. But that means by the time of the 3rd game, that's like actually happening, present timeline. First 2 have been burned down. The 4th one, he already had his hallucinations. He burned down 1, 2. Wait, no. So the 4th game, when he had his hallucinations, happened already. 2 happened and he burned it down. 1 happened, he burned it down. 5 happened, he burned it down. And now it's 3. So he went through all of that already. Okay, cool. Got you.
electronics he'd encountered over the past months, hopping from pizzeria to pizzeria, suddenly sprang to life, their burned faces haunting him as he tried to keep track of his father on the cameras. It would seem that William's mere presence had put the spirits on high alert. Ultimately, they were harmless, more annoying than anything else, but there was one that felt different from the others, one that was more than just a mere phantom, the security booth. If he looked at the cameras at just the right moment, he could see it floating there through the halls. He could even see its reflection in the water pooled on the ground. It would seem like he wasn't the only one there on a mission. While he was dealing with Springtrap, Michael assumed that this one was likely dealing with the spirits of this place, finally setting them to rest. Hopefully this means a happier day for all of us, Mike thought to himself. And in that moment, he felt the air around him release, like pressure being let out of a bottle. The building sighed, as if 5 spirits had finally been allowed to move on. He had the sense that his brother was a part of them. He rigged the wiring inside the building to misfire, and the dry, desiccated walls erupted in flames. It is finished.
Are you a lonely man with nothing going on? Why not learn how to code?
Thank you for the donation, bro. Appreciate you celebrating their first super chat online. Yes, sir.
They show you how to go out and get
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Except
thank you for the donation.
Was not. Somehow, through sheer force of will, Afton remained. He had survived, and Mike would need to find a new way of finishing off his father. Luckily, the solution would present itself later that year. Not from Mike, but from another victim that had been left in his father's wake.
We're talking about becoming a fast
Where's Henry at, though? Like, we haven't talked about Henry in a long time.
Finished.
So you burned
Except
that?
it was not. Somehow, through sheer force of will, Afton remained. He had survived, and Mike would need to find a new way of finishing off his father. Luckily, the solution would present itself later that year. Not from Mike, but from another victim that had been left in his father's wake.
We're talking about becoming a Fazbear Entertainment franchisee, restaurant ownership and management, something almost anyone can do with a limited degree of success. You are now the face of the newly rebranded Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Fazbear Entertainment as a brand had been closed for years. William had been stuck in a suit and a wall. The only person who legally could bring the franchise back was Henry, but he'd largely pulled out of the franchise around the time of his father's disappearance. Something was up. Surely this had to be some kind of a trick, right? Mike, doing what he did best, applied for a franchise and immediately got the job. There was just one thing out of the ordinary. Paragraph 4.
If you are playing this tape, that means that not only have you been checking outside at the end of every shift, as you were instructed to do, but also that you have found some something that meets the criteria of your special obligations under paragraph 4.
No employment contract he'd ever signed required him to keep special lookout for independently moving animatronics outside the restaurant. Now he knew something was up here. Henry was luring them all back. Rather than trying to go to them, like Mike had done for years, Henry was doing the opposite. He was putting them all under the same roof. He was finishing them off for good. Mike knew this wasn't meant to be a restaurant. It was meant to be a prison, a containment vessel, a locked box meant to trap them all in so they could finally end the madness. It took a few nights, but eventually everyone was there. His father, the puppet, the robot spaghetti that had once violated his body, and his sister, now hopelessly devoted to serve the man that had once gotten her killed. It was time. He had been instructed to seal the doors and leave, but while he locked everything down, he didn't move on. If this was truly meant to be the end, if the remnant needed to be washed away, he needed to be a part of that.
This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you, although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
And with that, it was over. The Afton legacy died with all of them trapped inside of a literal box. As the flames danced around the office, Mike, for the first time in decades,
And perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke
This one is Pizza Simulator. This is the 6th or 7th game.
Hell has opened
Pizza Simulator. Which one is this?
So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
and with that, it was over. The Afton legacy died with all of them trapped in...
Damn, that's the spaghetti one. The weird creature ones that violated him, his sister. Springtrap looks crazy. You can see the person in there too. Yeah, that looks nasty. Freddy looks black. I don't know what's up with
inside of a literal box. As the flames danced around the office, Mike, for the first time in decades, was happy. But William wasn't gone yet. Although the darkest pit of hell was open and waiting for him, something or someone wouldn't allow him to move on. Instead, he found himself locked in moments from his past. The pizzeria, his son's room, his underground bunker. It was as if his brain's neurons were all firing at once, overloaded, mixing and matching all his biggest fears, regrets, failures. What was this place? How did he get here? He called out into the silence.
Is this the one that was on VR?
Then they started coming. Without warning, animatronics, both new and old, began to jump out at him, bite him, rip him limb from limb. But the pain was immeasurable. Make it stop! Make it stop! William, for the first time, longed for death, an end to this torture. Just as it felt like he couldn't take it anymore, everything was quiet again. It was as if the world had been reset. There was a brief moment of quiet, and then the onslaught began again. Dozens of faces from his past all focused on him. A waking nightmare that he couldn't escape from. More pain. More ripping. It was his own personal hell, but why? Why couldn't he just die? And then he saw them, a group of characters he never thought he'd see again. Those janky, stolen characters that had started everything. The mediocre melodies. It had all started.
We haven't heard from them since the beginning of the whole game. I mean, video. The Black Freddy was designed to capture the puppet so it could burn in the trap. This game is free on PC. Oh, really? Free on PC? Okay.
They showed up. Once Henry
only
made
on PC?
them, mixed in with their obnoxious southern drawls, William heard something else. It was barely a whisper, but he could just make out the words.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here.
So Mike is
no matter how many times
all the other kids
they burn us.
That voice. He knew that voice, but from where? The one he shouldn't have killed. William thought back. He'd done a lot of awful things, but there was always the one that stood out. Not Charlie, his drunken act of revenge. Not Susie, his first true murder, no. Instead, it was the one that he had lost control with. The one that he had broken beyond repair for no good reason other than because he could. The one that he'd stuffed inside the golden bear that his partner used to wear. Cassidy. They were back. Now they were trying to punish him, to make him suffer like he'd made them suffer. It was almost like William and Cassidy's souls had been locked together, fused by a collective rage and spite, each refusing to move on. But while Cassidy was so focused on taking revenge, they actually did the one thing that would be the downfall for so many others. They kept William alive. Even though fire should have destroyed the remnant that was coursing through his being, Cassidy kept William breathing, paving the way for his escape. William's will was so strong, his soul so powerful that he managed to put a part of himself inside the circuitry that housed the spring-locked suit. And there, his consciousness lay, inside a single circuit board, waiting for someone to find him and set him free. A person that no one would suspect. You might have noticed that I was vague about the dates, and there's good reason for that. I don't know him. There is no good way for me to make him fit in. Here's what I do know. We know with a high amount of certainty that Michael Afton is the character that we play as up until Ultimate Custom Night. Mike Schmidt and Fritz Smith, the security guards for FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 respectively, get fired for, quote, tampering with the animatronics and odor. So weird connection between the two of them, right? But now, look at the phantom animatronics that are haunting.
Okay, the phantom animatronics in 3, they are all burned up. That makes sense. It starts as a simple pizza simulator, but it quickly becomes a crazy FNAF game, and of course you can custom the night later on, so you now you select how many animatronics you want to face. Did you know it was a FNAF game when you first got it? I mean, when you first played it, or do you think it's just like a regular pizza game, or does it's like marketed as a FNAF?
Us in FNAF 3. They use models from both FNAF 1 and FNAF 2, meaning whoever is sitting in that security guard chair Fazbear fights, they have to have seen both locations and their animatronics. And that's not all. Their designs are burnt. It's a weird detail in the game, and it's something that the character encyclopedia repeatedly calls attention to. The burned texture for these phantom animatronics. Why is that so unusual, though? Fazbear Frights is the first time in the franchise that we hear about anything burning down. From that point on in the story, it's like the characters turn pyro and are suddenly setting fire left and right, but for the first 3 games, nothing ever catches fire. The animatronics are just moved or repurposed in some way. So when did they burn? And why would our security guards see them as being burned? Someone has to have been going location to location, setting these places on fire, purging the sins of the past. We know we're definitely playing as Mike and Sister Location in FNAF 6 based on the in-game dialogue. And in FNAF 4, there's an Easter egg where we can hear the phone call from Night 1 of FNAF 1, meaning that whoever's in that bedroom has heard the recording as a security guard. We also know that Mike has seen the nightmare animatronics based on his drawings in the security logbook. So overall, there is solid evidence that connects all of FNAFs 1 through 6. You'll also notice how the character encyclopedia doesn't have a page for Mike Afton. This thing has a page for Chocolate Bunny Bonnie, but not Michael. Some tells me they don't want us to confirm how many games he's been in, because that would confirm too much of the theory. In short, this gives us an incredibly compelling and complete narrative. Mike as our protagonist, and William, his father, as our antagonist. Mike accidentally kills his brother in Fredbear's mouth, which begins our story and sets William down his pathway of destruction. Mike is then haunted by the guilt of his past and is looking to make things right across the rest of the game. In Sister Location, he learns what his father's been up to and realizes what he has to do to correct it. After failing to finish the job in FNAF 3, he ultimately helps Henry end it all in FNAF 6. It is great. It is a clean narrative. There is just one problem: timing. Mike's quest can't really start until he's been down to Sister Location, seen Baby, and gotten himself scooped. That's when he finds out about Afton's secret life. It's also when he's gonna start to smell, because, you know, he's a walking, talking, rotting corpse. And we know that he's not going down into the bunker until the Funtime animatronics have been made, Freddy's has been closed, and Afton is out of the picture. That all should be happening post-1993, after William is sealed behind a wall. That then presents us with a few problems. Afton has already dismantled the original animatronics as we see in the FNAF 3 minigames. How are those things getting burned if they're already deconstructed? But more importantly, we see FNAF 2 paychecks with the date 1987. That is way earlier than I think it can be. To be fair, Fritz Smith's pink slip on night 7 doesn't have a date, but it's a bit weird to say that the first few nights are in 1987 and then employee number 3 is hired on years after the restaurant closes. Fazbear Entertainment was dead.
There is no need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity.
All debts had been paid, all assets redistributed. The company was outright dissolved. Even the memories of the horrors that had happened there started to fade away in the public consciousness. The people were gone too. William was dead. Henry was gone. A whole generation of young Emilys and Aftons had lost their lives to the horrors of the pizzeria. All of them collateral damage to the man in the bunny suit. Everyone the company had ever touched was dead and gone. Well, all except one.
Pay your child support, you deadbeat!
Why?
I'm keeping the diamond ring. I also set the house on fire!
Clara Afton. She'd been there in the early days, back when things with William were good. They'd had the perfect home, a thriving business, the ideal family. But shortly after their youngest son died, things started to change. William had become distant, lost in his work, obsessive. She had watched him change from this irritatingly brilliant man that she had fallen in love with to a drunken monster struggling to hold himself together. And despite her trying to reach out to him in those desperate days, he was just too far gone.
Admit it, you wanted to let me in.
For her sake, she had to leave the relationship. And from there, she largely faded into obscurity. A mystery from William's past, a footnote in his history. That was fine for her. She wanted to leave that part of her life behind. She tried to move forward, never wanting to hear the name Freddy Fazbear again. A time defined by mistakes and broken promises. But then, the paperwork started to arise. As Fazbear Entertainment began to close as a corporate entity, suddenly her mail was flooded with notifications, requests, obligations. She had been there since the beginning, helping William in the early days of his business. And now, as a shareholder and sole living member of the Afton family, all copyrights and trademarks of both Afton Robotics and Fazbear Entertainment passed on to her. Memories of this past life that she had long left behind. Looking at the blueprints, the contracts, the memos, she felt old wounds begin to reopen. The regrets of a happy family that had been torn away from her. William had always been brilliant. That's what had attracted her to him in the first place. But he'd also been too blinded by obsession and pride. He was too jealous, too petty, too unable to actually see a...
3, 2, 1, go! The rift brought us all here. Wherever here is. But monsters fall.
Bigger picture. But now, holding the paperwork that contained decades of heartbreak and trauma, she realized it was her turn. She was holding the power. This was her chance. And one thought resonated in her head. I will put them back together. I will put them all back together.
Why?
She would be the one to rebuild this family. To rebuild the pieces of that shattered life. To reclaim the kids that Fazbear had stolen from her. How? Looking at William's work now laid out before her, she knew that he had been onto something. Collecting remnant, robotic humanoids, digital
Wait, how did she find it? I zoned out for a second. How did she find out what he was doing?
And trademark paperwork started. And from there, she largely faded into obscurity. A mystery from William's past, a footnote in his history.
How did she find out what he was doing?
She wanted to leave that part of her life behind. She tried to move forward, never wanting to hear the name Freddy Fazbear again. A time defined by mistakes and broken promises. But then, the paperwork started to arise. As Fazbear Entertainment began to close as a corporate entity, suddenly her mail was flooded with notifications, requests, obligations. She had been there since the beginning, helping William in the early days of his business. And now, as a shareholder and sole living member of the Afton family, all copyrights and trademarks of both Afton Robotics and Fazbear Entertainment passed on to her. Memories of this past life that she had long left behind. Looking at the blueprints, contracts, memos, she felt old wounds begin to reopen. The regrets of a happy family that had been torn away from her. William had always been brilliant. That's what had attracted her to him in the first place. But he'd also been too blinded by obsession and pride. He was too jealous, too petty, too unable to actually see a bigger picture. But now, holding the paperwork that contained decades of heartbreak and trauma, she realized it was her turn. She was holding the power. This was her chance. And one thought resonated in her head. I will put them back together. I will put them all back together. She would be the one to rebuild this family. To rebuild the pieces of that shattered life. To reclaim the kids that Fazbear had stolen from her. But how? Looking at William's work now laid out before her, she knew that he had been onto something. Collecting remnant, robotic humanoids, digital conscience transference. The pieces were all in place. They were just scattered, fragmented. It was almost like there were too many ideas going in too many different directions. It was such an important idea that she reiterated that point to herself. There were too many ideas going in too many different directions. That said, there had to be a way to save it all. She just needed to put it all back together. But how? To rebuild her family, she would first need to rebuild the franchise that had stolen them away from her. With ownership over the characters, their licenses, the technology patents, and the Fazbear name, she converted the corporation back to an LLC, a structure for smaller businesses that are usually family-owned. The irony was fitting. From there, she would need Remnant, and lots of it. Remnant was the key. Clearly, in the later years of his life, William had been using Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals as a remnant farm, sending robots to kids' birthday parties in the hopes of nabbing bits of the stuff here and there. But clearly, it wasn't enough. He had, what, like 4, maybe 5 animatronics going out every week? No. It was a decent idea, but to get the remnant they required, it needed scale. Dozens, hundreds of animatronics, all out there, all gathering remnant from unsuspecting
what game is this?
But to do that would require help, something William would never ask for. William had kept everything in-house. His obsession with control limited him. Clara, though, she wasn't nearly that precious. A plan like this required partners, people outside of Fazbear to do the heavy lifting. So she contacted mid-sized delivery company, DLZ Shipping Solutions, to help build replicas of all the original animatronics. And with meal delivery apps being all the rage, why not an animatronic delivery service? Order one to celebrate your birthday, your Halloween party. How about a 4th of July picnic? We'll invite Liberty Chica and 4th of July Freddy on over. She would make sure that they made skins for every occasion. Chocolate Bonnies for Easter, Shamrock Freddy's for St. Patrick's Day, Dia de los Muertos Chicas. And thus, the Fazbear Funtime service was born.
What game is this?
Funtime service, you'll never be alone again. You'll always have someone watching your back.
Was it ridiculous? Absolutely. Was it a sellout? No doubt. It was exactly the sort of thing that William would have hated, but it needed to be done to get enough remnant. Normally, the novelty of ordering an animatronic wore off after like what, 1, maybe 2 times? But with new skins for new holidays, suddenly you had yourself an animatronic perfect for every occasion. It would keep people hooked. It would keep them ordering the latest and greatest that Fazbear Entertainment LLC had to offer. And all the while, they'd be collecting and returning the remnant back to her. In a word, it was brilliant. There was just one problem with it. No one trusted the Fazbear name. The company's brand was still mud in the public eye. No one would want to hire animatronics from the restaurant franchise known for murdering children. Nothing kills a party quite like the threat of death, you know. So she needed to find a way to discredit the stories that had come before. She needed to win back the public's affections, reactivate some nostalgia for the spooky stories of their childhood. She needed a game. Multiple games, in fact.
They lied to us. They lied to all of us.
Is this
they told us that the
main
whole point
canon
of
game
the
or is
VR
this
game
a
was to
side
undo
game?
the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer. But that's not true at all. Those indie games were designed to conceal and make light of what happened. This isn't just an attempt to rebrand. It's an elaborate cover-up.
Struggling game developers were a dime a dozen online, most working on their magnum opus between shifts at the Dollar General. So she found one. Steve just picked him out of obscurity. The right mix of desperate and doofus willing to say and do anything for a couple extra bucks. And he fell right in line, as expected, delivering stupid little things with dumb generic names like Mangle's Quest, Balloon Boy's Air Adventure, Five Nights at Freddy's. Bad gameplay with even worse graphics, but hey, I got the job done. People were suddenly talking about the clues inside of these things, searching for the hidden lore. They were actively making jokes about dead kids at pizzerias. Her husband's twisted history of serial murder had suddenly been reduced to a mere Nancy Drew mystery to be solved. The plan had worked. Freddy Fazbear was suddenly more popular than ever. Things were going shockingly well. Her takeover and reboot of the franchise was full and complete. Suddenly, infused with cash, she built the largest, most ambitious project yet, the Mega Pizzaplex. William had always been so visionary, but always thought so small scale. He was careful to a fault. Not her, though. She knew that this latest project needed to be big. It needed to be flashy. It needed to be a palace for children. A place that got people talking and checking out the latest in Fazbear products. So with a steady supply of remnant flowing in,
what game was the southern one with the hippo and the elephant and the crocodile?
It was time to get to her real goal, literally rebuilding a family.
She made the mega one. The phone game was a side game with the main lore. Okay, phone game with some lore. Makes sense. FNAF 3.
March 2035. The first was obvious. Crying child, her little boy, the one that was the first to get ripped away from her. She'd seen down in his bunker that William had gotten very close to replicating artificial humans using animatronic technology. So that's exactly what she would do. Rebuild her boy from the ground up using robotic parts. His shaggy brown hair, his favorite striped shirt, even down to small details that no one would notice, like the band-aid on his left knee. William's research had even found ways of making animatronics that could bleed and process as food, making them virtually indistinguishable from a typical human. He would never have any idea of what he actually was unless he was explicitly told. The only things that could possibly ruin the illusion were any overrides to his internal systems. If something were to, say, interfere with the cameras that he had in his eyes, or cause some sort of a core reboot to his hard drive, or x-ray his bones, then yeah, he would be exposed. But otherwise, to the outside world, he's just your typical, normal human boy. She worked down in the bowels of the Pizzaplex, giving him life, but it was one thing to build him, it was another to help him remember his identity. He died so young, so early in their history that there was no preserved memories for him, no documentation that she could just download into his digital brain. So bit by bit, she trained him, forcing him to remember who he was. In a corner of the room, she even made a makeshift dinner table, a reminder of their happier days. The family recreated 2 brothers, a sister, a father, and the mother at the head of the table. The one in charge, the one in command, the one bringing all of this to fruition. But his progress was admittedly slower than she would have liked. At first, he could only communicate through simple ones and zeros, then rudimentary drawings and crude letters. But bit by bit, images of his past life started to come through. Balloons, colors, houses, bears and faces, birthday parties. All for me. Gregory was alive. As the robot boy embraced her, she felt a warmth that she hadn't in decades. This was the joy that she'd been working towards. This was what it was all for. Her son, back in her arms again. The plan was working. She had to keep going. Next was William. If the family was truly going to be put together, she would need him. And she knew exactly where he was, in the ruins of that old Freddy Fazbear's pizza place where Henry had trapped him. In fact, that's specifically why she insisted on building the Pizzaplex there over the sinkhole. It was the best place to hide what her true intentions were with the entire operation. Digging through the wreckage, she found him. He was right where she thought he'd be. Seeing the putrid shell of the Springtrap suit, though, was not something she was prepared for. The rotting corpse of William Afton was disgusting. Scorched flesh fused into the fur lining. Hollow black sockets where eyes once were. A smell that reeked of burned carbon and bloody iron. He was no longer flesh. It was just the tangled sinews of a creature that was once called human. How far this brilliant man had fallen. It was clear that her work was cut out for her on this one. Afton was practically lifeless. The man may not have been able to die, but it was about as close as you could come. And his body would need a lot of reconstruction. Replacement arms and endoskeleton reinforcements were the top priority. Maybe pulled from their new line of glam rock animatronics. You'd have to see if they had any spare Bonnie parts lying around that they could steal. In the meantime, though, she threw the husk that was once her husband into a life support pod infused with aerosolized remnant to help keep him stable. But more important than recovering his body was recovering his mind. In his current state, he was comatose, an empty shell. Severe brain damage starts at temperatures over 108 degrees Fahrenheit. 42 degrees Celsius, and years of repeated fires had burned his brain to goo. Gone was the brilliant, frustrating mind that had drawn her to him in the first place. But she had a plan. Unlike her darling boy Gregory, Afton had found ways to record his consciousness. Fundamentally, the brain is only a series of electrical connections after all, so why couldn't you replicate that in the form of a standard circuit board? In essence, you could create a digital consciousness. And one thing she knew about William, he was nothing if not cautious. A planner. Someone who had backup plans to his backup plans. Sure enough, there it was, buried in piles of old animatronic CPUs, a record of Afton himself. But she needed someone to test it.
Someone was definitely here during the night. It had to have been the client. I mean, they sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation, told us to scan it, said it would expedite the process so we wouldn't need to program any pathfinding ourselves.
Unlike the other games that she'd paid to have made in the past, this one had a different purpose. This wasn't about PR, it was about getting William back.
Yo, the fact that she was paying people to create the FNAF games is crazy. She paid so to make all the games.
Running, spreading his virus to the masses.
You acknowledge that Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for accidental digital consciousness transference, real-world manifestations of digital characters.
She hired a new developer, Silver Parasol Games, to scan the boards and bring her husband into the system. And because of the immersive nature of VR, William's consciousness would be able to merge with the player, giving him a new body, a new agency. There was just one complication. Afton's hold wasn't as powerful as she had hoped. He wasn't able able to gain complete control. The first trial run, Jeremy was so desperate to escape from his grasp that he sliced his own face off with a paper shredder. Messy. Afton's followers were reluctant, to say the least, but it was the second attempt that looked like it had the potential to kill two birds with one stone. Enter Vanessa. Mrs. Afton wanted a surrogate daughter. Her darling Elizabeth would have been a young woman at this point if she had lived. And Clara wanted someone who wasn't Elizabeth but could be just like her. Could she have just rebuilt her like Gregory? Sure, but she decided against it because she wanted an actual human mother-daughter connection. Well, that, and it would be redundant and narratively unsatisfying to have two robot kids in the same family. What could she say? William had put a lot of tools on the table for her to use, and she was planning on using them all. Plus, Elizabeth had always been so loyal to Daddy. It was time to give her a second chance, a true choice. And Vanessa seemed to be the perfect candidate to fill the role.
Your dad's name was Bill. Your dad didn't play fair, did he? He used to make your mum look bad in court. He manipulated you. I know your mum after she lost the custody case. I was supposed to be a good girl.
She started as a QA tester at Silver Parasol Games, the VR game development company that was part of her plan to bring back William. But more importantly, Vanessa checked all the correct boxes. Right age, blonde, green eyes, with a fondness for flowers and the outdoors. In many ways, it was her daughter all over again. Except it wasn't just looks and personality. What really mattered was Vanessa's mind. Underconfident, coming from a broken home, motherless, able to be manipulated. Yes, she would do nicely. She would be the one to save dear old Daddy, just as the real Elizabeth would have wanted.
I will make you proud, Daddy.
While testing the VR game, William's digital consciousness merged with Vanessa. Oh sure, she fought, fragmenting Afton's code into a series of tapes hidden across the game, trying to do web searches to regain control over her life, but it wasn't enough. She was weaker than Jeremy. She was a thrall that, despite occasional moments of lucidity, had to obey. And with Vanessa, it was a 2-for-1 deal. She was getting a daughter back, while also bringing her husband one step closer to reactivation. She just had to make sure that Vanessa was headed the right way. The reborn Gregory was an expert hacker, part of the benefits of being an Afton and a robot, so Clara had him keeping tabs on Vanessa, hacking into her emails and trailing her therapy sessions to ensure the future Elizabeth was falling in line. If any of the therapists started to ask too many questions, they were promptly dismissed from their positions. And while Gregory kept tabs on Vanessa's personal life, Mrs. Afton made sure to clear a path for her professionally. With Silver Parasol's collapse at the hands of the Anomaly, she then had the possessed Vanessa bring the contaminated circuit boards to DLZ shipping and the Fazbear Funtime service. More glitches, more Remnant, more Afton. But it was her last move that was the best. In a true masterpiece of poetry, she brought Vanessa over to be Chief Security Officer at the Pizzaplex. A true family tradition to don the hat and badge, and all it took was a recommendation from the top as well as some emails marked for deletion. Sure, Vanessa didn't have relevant experience for the job, but when it comes directly from the CEO, does it really matter? Husband, son, daughter. A corpse, a robot, a human. All that was left was Michael. Poor, troubled Michael. The boy that killed her youngest. The one that would spend years trying to make his guilty conscience right again. A self-professed protector. While she knew she needed him to complete the family, something told her that the problem had already solved itself. Something had shifted when using Glamrock Freddy to excavate the buried pizza place.
I have been here before. I found myself for the first time when I cleared the path. I have changed. My friends are here, but I can protect you. I am not.
Maybe it was the remnant that had coursed through Michael's veins. Maybe it was the spirit of Michael living on as a protector. But he was there, somewhere inside of Glamrock Freddy. She could feel it. Just like that, she'd won. She'd done it. Sure, there were still some kinks to work out, some final brainwashing of Vanessa, some rehabilitation of William, but they were there, finally, all together again under one roof. The Aftons reunited, a happy ending.
We've got passion, we've got determination, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
He's just as crazy as the dad.
We always felt like our content was all about entertainment.
And that's how it could have ended. That's how it should have ended, had it not been for a few unanticipated developments. For one, something was just wrong with the Pizzaplex. Almost as if the entire building was haunted, possessed. Puppet plushies hiding on ceilings, behind crates, places that they had no earthly way of belonging. Staff bots with greasy tears down their eyes acting like they were being puppeteered by some sort of a nightmare. Even their sounds had the echo of nightmares long past.
Who's the puppet and where's Henry at? I still don't know. Where's Henry in the puppet?
It was as though though a guardian spirit of the past refused to move on. As long as her husband was around, it too would linger. Only now, it wasn't just in one body, but it was in the essence of the building itself. She had seen stories of houses built on burial grounds getting possessed by angry spirits, but she'd never assumed that it could be real. Then again, in a world of living spirit metal and mind-controlling glitches, who was she to be so judgmental? The whole thing was ridiculous. Why would this be the line that she refused to cross?
So is this
After all, the
7?
Pizzaplex was
The mall
built
is 7
over the
or 6?
burial ground of angry spirits, but it was the power cords that finally convinced her that something was wrong. Suddenly, these cords were striped black and white, like the security puppet from generations ago. The very foundations of this place, the materials and wires that constituted it, were rebelling against her, against the Aftons, against the quest to bring them all together again. And it was being helped by something else, something slithering through the building. Maybe they were connected, she couldn't be sure, but a blob of living wires could be heard oozing through the walls, stealing pieces and parts of the old animatronics showcased in Rockstar Row. She could only assume that it was a byproduct of all the remnant they'd been collecting. From Afton's testing, she knew that both light and dark remnant existed, one of positive emotions and the other created from anguish, anger, agony. Perhaps this thing was an amalgamation of all the darkest parts of the pizzeria's history, a collection of the hatred still housed inside these defunct endoskeletons and exosuits. As long as it was left alone, it seemed to be harmless, but if any Afton outside of Michael got too close, it would lash out wildly. Even young Gregory, looking to punish the family that had been complicit in its horrible creation. Little did she know, though, that Gregory should have been her biggest concern, that bringing the family together would have some unforeseen consequences. Gregory was normally the goodest of boys. She had literally built him that way. But lately, he'd been disappearing more and more often, disobeying her orders, requests. She knew that he loved playing on the arcade machines once the Pizzaplex closed, being so good as to top the leaderboard on practically all of them. But lately, he was nowhere to be found. She suspected his absence had to do with Glamrock Freddy's failed performance the other night, when he malfunctioned live on stage, almost as though the core programming of Freddy responded to seeing this rebuilt small boy, almost like it awakened something inside of him. She'd have to make sure that Vanessa was on the lookout for him, but she'd soon come to learn that Vanessa wasn't enough. Whether it was the influence of the nightmare puppet or a reawakened hatred of animatronics seated deep in Gregory's code, something had caused him to rebel, to rip apart each animatronic in the Pizzaplex. Bit by bit, this boy was tearing down the empire that she'd so painstakingly built, freeing Vanessa from her mind control, destroying the remains of Afton in the basement, setting Glamrock Freddy loose. As her carefully created world crumbled around her one more time, she began to plot her revenge. She would have to bring them all to ruin. And there you have it, my friends, nearly a decade in the making, my FNAF timeline for where the franchise is here in 2023. Year of Fazbear Frights, by the way. As always, it wouldn't be right for me to finish without going over some of the more controversial takes that I just handed out. I think we can all agree that this part of the timeline was always going to be the hardest, so let me just break down some of the major points. First of all, the biggest swing, and obviously the one that everything else rests upon, Mrs. Afton being the CEO of Fazbear Entertainment LLC. Here's why I went with this route. Now, first and foremost, the head of Fazbear Entertainment is the single biggest mystery that we're meant to solve at this point in the lore. The Ultimate Guide brings it up repeatedly. Who's running the show? Who is okaying these decisions? And in the security breach memos, we get multiple mentions of someone manipulating things from the top down. Whoever this is, they are the person driving forward every other facet of late-stage FNAF lore here. They're the puppet master who's hiring the indie dev. They're the ones relaunching the brand, building the Pizzaplex over the burial ground. So everything at the end of the timeline relies on this one singular answer. Now, as I see it, there are two possibilities here. One, an adult robot Elizabeth, like we see older versions of Robot Kids in the Fourth Closet, or Mrs. Afton. Could it be someone completely new to the franchise? Absolutely yes, but in a game with so many returning faces and repeated themes, it would be pretty random and arbitrary. So, between these two girl bosses, who then would it be? Well, Elizabeth always wants to please her daddy, so she'd be most likely wanting to bring him to life. But then, what's Vanessa's role in all of this? Vanessa is clearly meant to be a parallel for Elizabeth. Same hair, same eyes, similar backstory, but if the main goal is getting the Afton family back together, which seems to clearly be the case in Security Breach, then there's no...
Wait, so you play as Glamrock Freddy and Gregory the Kid? How are you playing as them? You're just trying to destroy all the animatronics? And then Glamrock Freddy got possessed by Michael. Yeah, so you basically play as Michael and as Gregory. And you're just destroying everything. But if the mall is 7, then which one is 6? I thought you said 6 was the mall. Because 4 is the nightmare one. 2 is the one with all the extra ones. 1 is the original. 5 is the sister location, okay? With the scoop and all that. 3 is Springtrap when they destroy and burn everything completely. And then 6 is the one with all the southern animals. And then 7 is the mall. All right, got you.
No need for Vanessa to be involved at all. We already have Elizabeth running
where's
the show.
Vanessa
It would also
at
mean
then?
that we suddenly have
She's-
2
where's
robot
Vanessa
kids
in
running
7?
around, which feels narratively repetitive and quite frankly kind of dumb.
included her,
Now
so what
look at
happened to
Mrs.
her?
Afton. We know next to nothing about her outside of any clues that we can get from Immortal and the Restless and Bellora's song. But what her being head of Fazbear does is make every other piece of the lore fit. Suddenly, you can have one of every other type of character. One robot kid in Gregory, one brainwashed human in Elizabeth/Vanessa, one OG corpse in William, and one
Is she
possessed
in 7?
animatronic in
Since
Mike.
she was-
Narratively, it makes everything else
So
cleaner.
Vanessa,
Legally,
what's
it's
up with her
also the
story?
option
Like,
that makes
who
the
is
most
she in the
sense.
game?
As
Like,
I
where is
call
she?
out in my narrative, she'd likely have some stake in the
Is she
original
an
company and all
antagonist
of
or
its
protagonist?
assets. So as
Like, that's what you're
Fazbear
fighting
folds
against
as a company, I suspect a lot of it would return back to her. But there was one clue that really sold me on this particular direction, and that was this right here. In the
And where's
post-
Henry at?
The big
Henry and
lore
Vanessa, where are they
central of
at?
security breach, a dinner table scene with the whole family, including the mother. And not only is she there, she is at the head of that table, the position of highest honor and responsibility. She is the one in charge, with William being relegated off to the side. That one scene shows that we have to include Mom in there somewhere, and the only place it makes sense for her to be is at the top. Now, there is one big dilemma with my interpretation of all this. The Ultimate Guide really seems to point out that the head of Fazbear doesn't want the glitch trap virus to spread. They call out one particular email in FNAF AR where the legal team calls a cease and desist to all action about scanning the circuit boards. And even in FNAF VR, we're told that the circuit boards get stolen back by the client, presumably
But
once
do
they
you play
realize
as her?
what danger
You said you
is
don't
on
play
there.
as her. You
Trying to
said you
stop the
play
glitch
as
trap before he
Gregory and-
spreads and gets out of hand.
Michael.
Here's the problem with that,
Slash
though.
Spring-
The head of Fazbear doesn't want Afton to rise again.
Play
Why'd
as
they
Michael,
restart the company in the
him,
first place? Why'd they
and you
build
play as
over
Gregory.
the FNAF 6
So
pizzeria?
where's
Why'd they
Vanessa?
go through an elaborate cover-up to make the possessed Vanessa an important part of the company? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It would be the most inconsistent series of actions ever.
Wait, so
but
she
I
looked.
did
So
want to call
wait.
it
So the way the animatronics are looking for you, is Vanessa going to be looking for you too? Like, instead of you like hiding from like the puppets, you're hiding from Vanessa with a flashlight. Like, I got you. There you are. Is that what it is?
attention to it, since it seems to be the route that the official guide is trying to steer
Vanessa's
us
a
towards.
guy
Moving
that-
on to
there you
minor
go.
point number 1, the Five Nights at Freddy's games were made by the Rogue indie developer. Here's the thing, FNAF VR opens with this line.
That's why we've recreated many of these completely fictitious scenarios, lies that you've been fed over the last several years into a hilarious VR game.
It's recreating the lies told to you by the indie developer. And since Help Wanted has direct recreations of FNAFs 1 through 3, it means the games must be part of the fabrications that this developer made up. Also, all of this is heavily implied in the story of the same name, Help Wanted and Tales of the Pizzaplex, hence FNAF 1 through 3 canon games within the lore of the series. Big swing number 2, the elephant, or ghost in the room, Charlie infecting the Pizzaplex. John from the channel FNAF has made some great findings about Charlie's influence over the Pizzaplex. The cables that look like the striped arms of the puppet, the Nightmare-owned plushies that you find hidden across the Pizzaplex in weird places, the staff bots with creepy smiles and in your dreams written on the front. All of these things scream puppets. Plus, with the puppet mask not having tears and blob, seems to imply that Charlie's spirit exists elsewhere. She is still in play, and she has an important role, especially in Gregory's post-it room. The doors to the post-it room in the game's code are called Charlie doors, and inside we see a bunch of lit-up nightmare staff bot heads. Suspicious, to say the least. The channel ID Fantasy did a great theory looking at the post-it notes, concluding that the crying child / Gregory isn't alone in this room, but rather
Freddy
might be
is actually trying
communicating
to
with
help you.
someone. A spirit, Charlie.
So you're
Charlie's
playing
spirit
as
seems to have
Gregory.
pulled a poltergeist. Instead
Gregory's
of
the character
controlling
that
one
you
thing,
play
she's
as.
affecting a lot of little
But
details,
you
foundational
want to
elements of the
help.
Pizzaplex. And this isn't the first time that we've seen this in the franchise either.
And it makes sense that the mom's the head and that she's controlling, because why else would Gregory even be alive? Who else would build Gregory? And if it's not her, like, why would that even make sense? Gregory, like, no one's gonna rebuild Gregory for no reason, especially if he died like 40 years in the past. Someone just randomly rebuild him, and the mom is still out there, of course. She's the
seeing spirits communicating with people through physical writing in the survival logbook. So we know that this is an established means of spirit communication within this franchise. And I suspect that to some extent it might be Charlie's influence making Gregory go haywire. Which brings me then to my final and probably biggest controversy in recent FNAF history, Gregory as Patient 46, the evil robot mastermind. Now, I know when I first came out with this theory a year ago, people were mad. But here's the thing, you don't have to take my evidence points for it anymore. The recent Tales from the Pizzaplex story, GGY, basically goes and just outright proves it. In GGY, we find out about a boy named Gregory who's getting all the high scores in the Pizzaplex arcade machines. When therapists start to go missing, it's confirmed that GGY is the one that's working to bump them off. And when animatronics start getting corrupted by a mysterious glitch, GGY's letters are found inside the code. He even chooses the code name Dr. Rabbit, for crying out loud. But obviously, by the time of security breach, Gregory is working against Burn Trap, Vanessa, and the animatronics. Why? How? Well, it's not really clear. I tend to believe that something must have happened to cause him to either lose his memory or be reset in some way. Maybe it was Charlie talking to him in his post-it room. Maybe he hit his head. Maybe it was the connection that he made with Mike on stage in Glamrock Freddy. Not exactly sure, and I don't think we have enough clues to solve any of it yet. But it makes sense from a story perspective why he'd start off evil on Afton's side and then switch to trying to destroy him and not knowing who he is in security breach. And with that, my friends, I'm wrapping this thing up. Congratulations, we are on page 40. 22,000 words of FNAF, baby. I practically just wrote myself a Tales of the Pizzaplex short story. Have I answered everything? No. Does everything fit cleanly? No. But does it feel like the best and most cohesive narrative for all these characters that addresses most of the evidence we're given? Yeah. For me, honestly, it really does. And let's be honest with ourselves, the DLC will probably come out later this year and prove me completely wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Then comes the movie, whatever. My descent into madness continues. And with that, my friends, we can finally rest. We can leave the demon to its demon.
This is his last video, like,
reminder
before he sold
that
it?
it's all just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Alright, hey everybody, my name's P-Man. I just want to say good job to Game Theory.
Who the hell is P-Man? Shut up, bro. That's crazy. Alright, man. We watched a lot of that, and I learned a lot. Thank you, Miguel Torres, for suggesting that video. I actually sat there and watched the whole thing, and you actually stayed here and watched the whole thing with me, so I appreciate you. Now I actually do feel a lot more motivated to play FNAF because I did not know half of that. But last time I played, they were still calling him the Purple Man. I didn't know anything about the name Afro, so that's different. Wake up. Wake up. We have to say bye. No problem, bro. Alright, bro. I'm gonna hop off the stream. She's tired. Say something to them before I... Hold on. Say bye. Alright, well. We're gonna hop out of here. See you in the next stream tomorrow. We going strong. This is like the 10th day of streaming, bro. I'm being consistent. This is why this franchise blew up the way it did. Yeah, see, they just kept adding more. And I kept seeing that there was more FNAF stuff, but I just wasn't paying attention. I really did not know the lore got like this. But I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I'm gone.